And then that goes to excellent from no data. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Ooh, that had a little lag on it because my computer's getting used to running multiple video streams. Okay, there we go. We're live. Hey, how's everybody doing? We're going to do just some basic module soldering today. I put my expectations down here because every time I have high expectations for the stream, we don't end up doing it. You know, I was like, we're going to use my oscilloscope and I'm going to have like 17 different windows open. What's up, Voice of Grog? How's it going, Amazonian Walrus? We're going to have like 27 windows open and I'm going to have like fast Fourier transforms and all these mathematical functions going. And all we did was poke the oscilloscope at stuff and see if our sine wave had propagated through the thing. We're not going to do that today. Maybe we will. But I have enough of these modules that I need to finish soldering that we're going to do a little bit of basic soldering and we're going to get these things together so that they're a bunch of modules and not a bunch of like miscellaneous circuit boards. I probably have a front panel. Well, I probably have to reprint all of the front panels. But you know, we got to do the work. So let's do the work. That's our Saturday. And my voice is weird because this morning I don't know. Last night I had a lot of Thai food, a lot of very, very spicy food, and I guess my stomach decided to hold on to it until this morning. And so I did my whole morning routine, you know, sat with Willow in bed for a little while and had a bunch of water and took all my pills and all that stuff. And then as I was going downstairs, after having taken all my pills and drank water, and I think my stomach before that decided to completely empty out. So it was pills versus water in my stomach, and I think that became too toxic for my stomach to handle, and so I just like went bleh, and so that got my voice in the way that it is right now. So if I sound like I'm an octave lower, it's because I am. It's because I puked. I'm wondering about clouds. There's a way to get into the settings on clouds. I think I gotta test this right now. Hold on a second. Let's just test this. Mutable instruments, clouds, calibration. I saw a demo of clouds this morning, and clouds can do some really, really cool stuff. It's actually kind of amazing. Hold the bend parameter audio quality button for 1 second, then press it repeatedly to choose a recording quality. The current quality indicator setting is set by a red LED. Now, red, the color of the LED is going to change because I put different LEDs in this. It's supposed to actually have a certain spread of LED colors. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. C2 is 1 volt. So I'll need to do that. But hold on, let's see. So which one is blend parameter audio quality? BU meter, when freeze is active, they monitor the output level. Soft clipping occurs when the last LED is on. They can also indicate quality setting. Red. What? The problem is these depend on LED color, and I don't have that. The value of the 4 depending on where I put blend. Okay, so what I need to do. Oh, I see. There's the symbol. So 32 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo for 1 second is that one. We'll try setting that and see what happens. So there is what I want. I want the first one. So what I need to do is, let's power it up, do its little LED dance. If this gets it to work, I'm going to be so annoyed. Wait, this is on? What's going on? That's on and plugged in, but nothing was on over here. Did it get unplugged or something? What? Oh, this is fascinating. There we go. Okay, so hold the blend parameter audio quality button for 1 second. 1 Mississippi. Okay, and then this. Nope, didn't do it. I guess that just told me which one it was on. It's on that one. Then press it repeatedly to choose a recording quality. Oh, I see. Okay. Why doesn't that one light up? I only get 3. I don't get 8 kilohertz mono? Oh, there goes that one. That one's having a little trouble. Wait a sec. We got an LED that doesn't really work. There we go. Now it works again. That's concerning. Okay, so okay. Yeah, I got to go over the solder on that one then. Those are just choosing the blend. Oh, but wait, that one's lighting up blue now. Looks like we can go, yeah, what? How come it doesn't like continuous or something? When I poke it, it works again. Okay, all right. Okay, never mind. That theory is bunk. Because that should have... Although, wait a sec. Having said it differently, would you just hold up the circuit board, please? Just hold the circuit board. Jeez. I have this thing like falling all over the place. Then again, okay, let's just put a sine wave into it. And... yeah, sine wave into it. Mono style. Yeah, no, see, these would light up to give me the audio level, so no progress. No, I thought that I would have to set this from the beginning. I haven't calibrated this, and I thought that the audio quality setting, because you can set 4 different audio qualities, and that gives you different lengths of recording. Clouds is all about taking little recording samples and blending and like replaying them in weird ways in order to make cool sounding audio. I was thinking it would be a really powerful tool. Yeah, because this is not what I'm working on today. This would actually be a really powerful tool in the hands of like one of those, either like D&D streamer or something like that. Because if you want something to sound like it's broken technology, this is a really good thing to have. Like, man, it makes some cool, loopy, weird, sampley stuff going on. Very, very interesting, Clouds. Oh, I need to get YouTube chat up on the screen before we keep going. But no, we're not working on this today. This is just me hanging out with chat, and nobody's here yet. We've had actually a little bit more activity than is typical at the beginning of streams. We've got, Magic String, Voice of Grog, Groogy Something's around. Oh, hey, how you doing, Groove? So all that good stuff going on. So yeah, it's not specifically stream related what we're doing right now. This is from yesterday. But again, I thought that because I didn't set an audio quality, it might just not communicate between these two. But apparently, that's not the case. It just doesn't work. So here we are. Because right now, if I'm pumping audio into it, I should be able to turn this up, and then I should be able to see an audio level on there. Is it that my sine wave is a little bit too juiced? Because I think it's a plus minus 5 volt sine wave. But I think that's what it's supposed to be able to get. Yeah, I've not tried to flash it yet. Alright, turning this off. I've not tried to flash it. I looked for a hex file for a little bit. I don't know why people don't like providing hex files. Because it's not like I'm changing build parameters. There's probably only a couple build parameters on that hex file. Because it's supposed to be on this hardware and nothing else. There are probably Clouds reduxes that people do in order to have more common microcontrollers and things like that, so that you don't have to solder in absolutely the tiniest. But it would stand to reason that I would be able to find at least a hex file somewhere. But anywho, yeah, that's for the FTDI dongle. And then I've got the whole JTAG programmer there too. So this shouldn't be too hard to reflash. I just need to get a hex file for it. All right, so clouds goes way over here into the no man's land. Let's make a little bit of space on the desk. What's a clean desk is a happy desk. A cluttered desk is a cluttered mind. I've always had an empty desk. Probe RS supports that chip. So does Arduino, actually. There's an Arduino core for it. But I don't want to reinvent. I want the hex from Mutable Instruments. I don't want nothing else. There's a document with all the hex files and stuff. I gotta find it. How do I mean, maybe I gotta look a little harder. Because, yeah, I'll need the hex file for whatever version board that I have. And the right micro. Which I think that's the main production version. Although there may be variants. I'll have to take a look. The way that we did it was we actually compiled it using whatever the tutorial was on the Mutable Instruments GitHub rehost or whatever it is. Where am I putting these? But yeah, I found out that I can also flash my scope. I can make my Rigol scope into a much more expensive Rigol scope, although mine was already more expensive than the more expensive scope, because I apparently bought the scope when it was brand new. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah, apparently over at EV Blog, they figured out how to do the classic Rigol flashing, so I'm gonna do that. There's a Google Doc. Oh, sweet. Let me get that before the getting gets ungood. I paid $1,000 for my scope. $900, I believe I paid. $900, and it was a birthday gift, and I was unaware that it had just been released. I think that was like 2 years ago. It was a milestone birthday, and I was like, I need a new scope, so I bought this thing. I'm glad I did. This thing is great. It does my homework, like it's amazing, but I paid a little too much for it. It happens sometimes. You gotta not beat yourself up constantly over it. For somebody who's constantly obsessed with being frugal in a way that sometimes is unhealthy, because I need to, because I need to be frugal, because I don't have money. I don't have money. I just don't. Yeah, it hurts me. It physically hurts me that I spent all that money on the scope, but it is really good. So I paid a full $975 for the newer 1 gigahertz BW 4 gigahertz sample rate and 2 AFG port newer Rigol scope. You got to sit on them for a little bit because they go down in price. Apparently, I learned. Now I know. But I'm not out here looking to spend thousands of dollars to get just a mediocre shop. If I need it, I get it. That's it. I've only ever really needed one scope. Never really needed a function generator. I do have one somewhere around here, and I've got a little dinky home kit function generator that does just fine. I'm not doing lab work, so I don't need lab quality. I can get secondhand, old, less functional things. What this is right here. This right here. In an office scenario, if you're working with a bunch of engineers and a test area, what I'm holding on to right now is the most important thing that you will ever experience. You need, if you've ever seen one and you know what it is, and you work with other engineers in like a lab or a shop, you hold on to this with your life. It's possible, even in order to improve the quality of your life, buy yourself a set of these. What this is, it's a scope hat. A scope hat, if you have the pokey bit out, you can poke in on the circuit. You add this, and your scope has a little hook that you can deploy. And the little hook can be hooked up to things like wire leads, so that you're not constantly having to contort in order to poke at the signal that you're looking at. Or it can hook on to voltage supplies, it can hook on to all kinds of stuff. The probe comes with them. But if you're in any scenario where you're sharing equipment, they're gone. They're gone forever. So you either fight. Oh, now that one's gone. You can buy them secondhand. You can buy them not secondhand, but you can buy spares. And if you do, hold on to them with dear life, because you've spent your own money on them, because they will go missing. These just go missing because you're doing a test setup and you go, all right, and then you keep moving, and then that goes and it churns around in the junk on the desk, and then it disappears. So, yeah, now they're gone for real. That's always a possibility. But yeah, I make sure that my probes always get put away complete. Do you have any special probe tips for probing the STM32? I have special probe tips for everything but the Rigol scope. Okay, that just got stuck. What are you getting stuck on? It's this flux pen. Yeah. That's not where I keep those. Yeah, I've got like a scope probe stand. This is for just like having your probe just lean against stuff. I have all of these weird things. I got SOIC clips. These giant things for the multimeter that like really make sure that you're clipped in. I have a couple scope hats from various things. These high voltage probes for the multimeter are really important for doing circuit analysis work because they've got an extremely sharp tip. Like that hurts. That extremely sharp tip can poke through oxidation. It can poke through solder mask. So if you really need, but it's also very, very small. So it helps me do the smaller electronic stuff with the multimeter. And I have an extra set of them too. But these will draw blood. Ask me how I know. Yeah, those will draw blood. These are like multimeter probes for like a multimeter that I don't have. They're for a different set of probes that I should probably use. But they're just really pokey metal bits. So these are in the same vein as those high voltage probes. This one is savage. This one is ridiculous. Savage. This clamps onto a wire, and then you advance the needle in order to get a ground connection. Ooh. This thing's crazy. There's the hookup for it. The multimeter that I have is a Fluke 179. There's much better multimeters nowadays. Don't trust me. Don't trust my recommendations of a multimeter because there's better ones now. I don't know what they are, but they're better. It's too far in. I don't think we can go this far out. Yeah. I think I can get a little bit of extra distance. Yeah, we can get a little extra distance. But I use a Fluke multimeter because the Fluke multimeter can drop out of a moving car and still function. These are the other accessories that like you want to keep. You want to make sure you keep your color rings to identify what it is. This little spring ring goes around the probe, and if you're doing RF, if you're doing radio stuff, you may want to get a really localized ground. So you have the spring thing on here, and then it's got a pin sticking out. And so you can hook the spring onto a ground and then your probe onto what you're looking at. Oh, there's an EV blog one, huh? That's special. Yeah, I think you gotta finesse it a little bit to get it on here. Or twist it. They put a lip on there to hold it in. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so if you're probing, let's get us something. Let's get us something to probe. If you're doing RF work, take this ground off. RF and, you know, just other stuff that's susceptible to noise. You can find a ground with one part of this probe, with the spring part. It's kind of hard to, it kind of moves around a little bit. You got to kind of go straight down with it. You would poke the thing you're testing and then have the other thing poke a ground. And then you get your very local ground that supposedly keeps it nice and clean. So Never needed it though. I've only known one RF engineer to actually ever need this. All right, that goes back in here. Always keep this stuff together because it's like, when you need it, you need it. We're going to solder some modules today. We're just putting together some of these filters that I've been meaning to finish. There's a lot of steps on some of these. It's not complicated stuff. We're just putting stuff together. Ever use the 50 ohms termination on your scope? No, and I never needed the extra ground on it either. I mean, I do dinky little digital electronics. It's not that involved. I don't do nothing with radio. Get all these front panels together. Serious filter is for testing later. Got the 570 galore. That doesn't need anything else. The big one that we're going to work on is the MS-22. The MS-22 has a lot of stuff that still needs to be installed. There's a lot of stuff. So I like RF stuff. It makes me feel. I missed the last stream. Oh yeah, we did a bunch of testing with Clouds. Clouds is like this like gradient sampler, and it's supposed to be able to make some really cool sounds. We were able to get sort of into the nitty-gritty and figure out that all the hardware on this board does work. Although if I push down on this blue LED turns, I don't know. Anyway, everything works except our microcontroller is not communicating with the data acquisition chip. And the data acquisition chip was replaced. I have a bin full, I have like 5 or 6 of these things that are like obsolete and discontinued now, which is kind of crazy that I have so many of them. But these things, I don't think this is a counterfeit chip, but it's getting all the right voltages. Our chip here is not trying to communicate with the thing. Are you taking foot pedals apart? Nope, these are eurorack. Eurorack is in the title for the stream. Eurorack is pretty much the same thing as foot pedals, give or take, but you don't use those big stompy buttons on them most of the time. Did that show up in? Oh yeah, that was way back there. Sorry. Fire good. All right, Google Doc. Let's get that Google Doc opened up. Oh yeah, it's over here. It's in a different window. Module. Oh, they have Mauser projects and Octopart BOMs. Wow, that's very organized. That's not how I operate. Schematic, GitHub, Eagle v6, cool. Upvert KI CAD, panel AI, what? Firmware. Clouds, revision 3. Firmware. I already have the bootloader, so. Okay, can we go to the hyperlink? Copy the link to clipboard. This is clunky. All right, let's open this up. Wait, this one's using that song too. Not song 2 from Blur, but I mean the Donkey Kong song. What is this about? Okay, this is the firmware. This is not the compiled firmware. Okay, I need to look on the document a bit more. Yeah, that's not the hex. That's the whole firmware. I see. Yeah, it's better if somebody else compiles it. CPU, codec, notes. Oh, was the hex in there? That's bootloader. This is the... Okay, so I think I gotta find the hex in there. Yeah, I gotta find it in here. Hey, Lon Doug. All right. I wish I could drag this out a little bit more. Will this give me the full file name, or is it still going to truncate it? It's still going to truncate it. If I do that. Nope, it's locked in, huh? I guess I could download the whole folder. Where's the control to do that? Or is it not going to let me download anything until I sign up? No, just give me the whole thing. Log in or sign up or continue with download only. Huh. Yeah, it's not a big folder, so that works. Oh, clouds 1, parentheses 1, huh? Oh. Wonder how old clouds 0 is, or where cloud 0 is. Did I not tell you to extract? What did I buy this for? Oh, it already exists. Clouds. (9/12/23). Bootloader combo.bin. Where's the folder that I just... What? Huh? What? I just said extract a folder. Oh, no, not that. Cancel. The following already exists. Replace that one with that one. Yeah, to all. Well, if it already exists, where's the folder? What the... Why do I not see the folder? Ah. Bootloader combo. What's up, Herr Did you pay for WinRAR? No. No, I did not. What is up with search? Why wouldn't... I'm looking for the folder that I just made called Clouds. And yet it doesn't come up at all. Do it this way. And there's the folder. What the hell? All right, by file type. This is Windows 10. It doesn't know a D file, huh? Clouds.hex, right there. So that's the one that I guess I'm going to upload. 10 streams. Nice. Baron Gungirmu. Yeah, that definitely showed me every instance of the word clouds, right? All I did was go to the search and I hit the letters and hit enter, and yet... Sorry everybody, my voice is a little weird. I puked this morning. I had another pill stomach. I don't know what it is with that. Apparently my body waits until the morning to empty out the stomach, and then I take a bunch of pills, and then it goes, hey, you're full of chemicals, and then it just goes, bleh. So it's not sickness or anything like that. It's not extreme hangover. It's just my body is like, this isn't food. Maybe bootloader. I already have the bootloader on there. Yeah. What's up, Poopsie Doodle? And again, we don't know if flashing it again is going to really do anything to my clouds. I guess I can get the programmer out and let's see if we can actually hook that up. This is just continuing on from yesterday. Homie. All right, let's see. Where is that? Where are you, programmer? You are in the bin with everybody else. It should be like stashed. I really need to do gridfinity on this thing, huh? Morning sickness. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm preggers. Knew it would happen eventually. All right. Oh, are you still watching? No, let's just pause the music and hit start. Let's just start. Stomach hasn't feeling all that great, not horrible. Long-term diabetes and stomach issues. Yeah, it's gastroparesis. Gastroparesis, you got a big nerve that runs down and around your stomach, and it controls whether or not it opens up. And then they had these really good drugs to treat gastroparesis, and the drugs were great, only they caused some people to have heart issues. And so they nixed all of the drugs. Nobody gets drugs. And so we just have to live with stomach issues. Very minor. It's a very minor thing for me. There are less minor instances of that sort of thing happening. It's annoying. It's very annoying. But it's just something I got to deal with. You know, complications from diabetes happen. Okay, I'll catch up with chat in just a sec. I'm trying to find my STM programmer. This is where I put my programmers. And the STM programmer is probably, yeah, it's sitting behind us. All right, never mind. We're not going to do this yet. It's I know where it is. It's with the MIDI pad that I have, the little drum pad. It's with that because I'm still reprogramming that. I still need to get LED functionality and stuff out of that and make it into a CAN bus accessory. So anyway, we're not going to do that. How's everybody doing? Yeah, that's my programmer spaghetti. Okay, yeah, anyway, hi everybody, welcome to TMI. No, welcome to Bother on the weekend. We're gonna do a bunch of soldering. I don't want to do anything else but soldering. We're not gonna be smart today. I watched an hour and 45-minute video yesterday about how my oscilloscope works, and it was a whole lot of just base level information that was really cool. And so I thought yesterday that I would be like friggin' Tony Stark with the oscilloscope. I'd be throwing windows around, and I'd have like fast Fourier transforms and like A plus B math functions going on. We'd have this whole readout and everything, and all these like meters going, and everything clicking away, and we'd be able to compare filters to filters to see how we tune these things. The bane of building eurorack modular synthesizer parts is tuning them. And some people will say, you don't have to tune them. They can just be like the guitars of the Old West. You just have to make them sound good to you. And it's like, shut up with that hippy-dippy bullshit. These are scientific pieces of equipment. I need this thing to be accurate because I don't know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I don't have a baseline to know that I've learned that I'm doing things right. So I need these things to be tuned and function properly. And that's been the hard thing to do with all of these because it's Eurorack and it's DIY and nobody agrees on what should be what. So I thought we could get Clouds running pretty easily because Clouds is this really cool granular sampler. You can take a little piece of audio and you can make it sound just super freaking high tech. It's awesome. We didn't get Clouds working. What we did, and again, this is something that has to happen with mutable instruments because these are such complicated pieces of equipment. Basically, everything talks to the microcontroller in its own way. So it'll go through some kind of an amplification circuit or some kind of a transistor circuit, something to isolate it from the STM32F405. STM32F405, we keep finding it everywhere. We keep finding STM32 in everything. I don't know why people use them. They're very complicated to program. They're very powerful, though. That's really why people use them. They're extremely capable microcontroller. So what happens is Eurorack comes in with its huge amounts of voltages, and it hits whatever buffer thing will punch it down into 0 to 3 volts for the analog inputs of the micro. So at the microcontroller, we can hit it with control voltages, we can twiddle knobs at it, we can hit buttons at it, and we can see all of our hardware works. All of our hardware communicates with that microcontroller. What wasn't happening is our audio coming in was going to the data acquisition chip, the DAC. The DAC has 2 input channels, it has 2 output channels, thanks to a discontinued 32-bit digital audio one-stop shop chip. We're pretty sure, thank you, we're pretty sure that all of the voltage levels are adequate for the DAC, but the DAC isn't communicating with the microcontroller. Our last bastion of hope with this thing is that somehow, I don't know, the hex file went in sideways, and so I2C communication, I2S communication isn't happening. And so the last thing to do with this is to flash firmware onto it. I need to get my ducks in a row to make sure that like works. I don't know if I have the tiny JTAG. I definitely could do the FTDI connection, this one over here, and flash it. But it's weird because there's definitely software on this thing. It's just not using the DAC. we don't see any communication to the DAC at all. It's almost like a parameter of the build wasn't put in or something. But that is, this is all ancillary to what we're doing today. None of this is important. Clouds, I'm putting on a shelf. We're going to come back to it. Maybe I'll do stuff with it Sunday or something. Man, I watched a video on how Clouds works, and it's cool. It looks really cool, but we're not going to be able to use it. So this goes aside. You're here to occupy the audio space. I woke up from a beef-induced nightmare. I sounded like the fart machine. Those could be good dreams if you just frame them properly. You lack imagination. You lack imagination. Anyway, thank you for that information about your... I know a lot about my viewers' guts. Anyway, I want to put together some of these modules. Like I've had a bunch of these filters sitting around, and I've sort of been like drip feeding parts into the projects, and then suddenly I ran out of thonks. Thonks, luckily, I can get in about 5 days. I can get 100 thonks in 5 days. So I ordered them, and they just arrived. I got 100 of these guys. It was like $40. Royal Mail paid for the tariff because it's eventually going to be, ruled illegal and then refunded. So it's nice. Royal Mail did something nice. They actually did something altruistic, and they're dealing with the bullshit for us, which is, hey, that's neat. That really encourages commerce to continue instead of grinding to a halt. Can I overshare about my gangrene surgery if you like? No, we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm the only one who's allowed to like super overshare. All right. Anyway, bonk. I got my thonks. Those are the only thing missing from all of these builds. We still have a lot of soldering to do. Let's get to it. I really want to attack the 3toms MS-22 because all the MS-22 needs is a couple of posts and then a couple of thonks. So we have the thonks. Now I need to get kind of creative with getting all of the posts onto this thing. Look at that. That is a healthy bin. That is a healthy sewing container full of thonky cons and the nuts to attach them. No, I didn't get the good ones. No, I got the terrible ones. That's what I did. I went out and I intentionally went and bought. What the fuck kind of question is that? Why are you asking questions that you clearly know the answer to? Jeez, dumb. You guys are dumb. Anyway, welcome to my show. My name is O'Bother. I'm really nice. I'm a nice guy. Okay, let me, I need to get my threaded inserts, because this MS-22 does weird stuff. It does weird stuff with hardware, where when you're limited in space, you have to do weird stuff in order to make things happen, to make ends meet. So what they decided to do is have you solder in a bolt for the standoffs. I'm not going to do that. My method of adding threads to a PCB is to have a threaded insert, because brass threaded inserts, brass loves solder. So you can just solder brass to the PCB. We got to make sure that it's not going to like blow up with mechanical stress, but it should be okay. My brother always buys the cheapest shit possible and then complains when it breaks instantly. There's, the whole Adam Savage method of buying tools for your shop. You buy the cheapo ones first, and if you use it well enough, it will break, and then you know that you can buy the decent one, right? I don't buy the best of the best unless it's something that I'm touching daily, like myself. So treat yourself. No, but anyway, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. If you're new to electronics and you don't know you're going to be doing it every day, don't buy the high-end Rigol. Even though Rigol's entry-level scope, just in general, if you just need to look at a signal every now and then to know that there's something there, you can buy like a $30 scope, and it's enough that you can poke in and go, oh yeah, I know what I'm looking at, and then you poke something wrong and it goes, and it pops, and then you go, okay, maybe I'll buy a $50 scope. Oh. I just said, even though Rigol is kind of entry-level scope, I literally stopped, but you're going to be a gearhound. You're going to be a gearhound. You're going to quote specifics because you want to be seen talking about a $15,000 to $30,000 scope. Listen, we know everybody knows they exist. Scopes can be brutally expensive. They're pieces of scientific equipment that are calibrated and all that stuff. But we're talking about the hobbyist specifically. Okay, so let me get my threaded. What? Okay, fine. You guys can look from over there. I'm gonna get my threaded inserts. I'm gonna get my threaded inserts. Where are those things? They're on a pile over here. Yeah. Oh, they're there. Okay, instantly found them. That was they're just at the top of the pile. Yeah, you can buy O-scopes in the form factor of multimeters. Yeah, and the problem is they have all these features. They have all these features, and I'm like, what are all these features? Uh-oh, what happened? I clicked on something and it's not unclicking. Okay. And you never know like how accurate these things are or how the UI, if it's like fun to use or anything like that. I don't know. But yeah, I have not waded through that area, that stuff. But if you are buying something like a scope, you really want to research the fine print on the cheap ones. But again, I would not go out and buy a $500, $800 oscilloscope unless you know you're going to be using it a lot. Or you have a sponsor or something. You guys go up here. We're doing MS-22 right now. This one I don't know how we're going to... I mean, we can take a look like digitally at this thing, but my scope has logic probes. But again, I don't have the adapter, the $400 adapter, to be able to use it. We need to build it. Or I need to order the $100 kit. That's the DIY logic probe thing. Or we get the $15 logic probe and use, maybe that's what we need to do, is get the $15 logic probe going. The super cheap one that mimics an expensive one illegally. I don't know what the workaround on that is. All right, so the MS-22 is a big old analog filter. It does not have any digital stuff on it, which is kind of neat, but it also is vastly super duper crazy complicated, and the build is weird. The build is very weird, and they want you to go through things in a certain way. I don't want to do that. I want to just build this thing. I've been having fun just building this thing. The problem is we need to solder 2 posts that go under potentiometers, because these pots go on this side of things. They have an LED coming in from a different circuit board. That's what these cutouts are for. So there's an LED coming from the circuit board below, and then there's a switch sitting right next to it. This is pretty tight. You can't really get a wrench in there. You can't reasonably expect anybody to get a wrench into that. So what we need is a threaded insert that's going to sit underneath this sort of knockoff alpha potentiometer that doesn't have, that's a little lower than it should be. It's got a little less space than we really, our front panel should be. Now, by the way, if I had ordered all these through ThonkyCon, which I could have done because I was ordering connectors anyway, I didn't know I'd run out at the time. If I ordered these through ThonkyCon, ThonkyCon has alphas that are in the weird values that are required for the MS-22. It's a shame. These could have been alphas. I can live with this. I'm gonna live with this. These are just ones that I was able to source through Mauser and DigiKey and Amazon. So anyway, we need to get a threaded insert under that. These threaded inserts are rather tall though. These ones are rather tall. There's some short ones in here, but they need to be compatible with the posts that are going to hold the rest of this thing together. I am tempted to sever the boards from their frame. I think that's what we're going to do right now. I want a digital scope so bad, but my antique scope can still do the things I need a scope for. Yeah, there's a charm to the analog scope. I need to fix the one that was sent in. Somebody sent one in, and I'm real familiar with the old school scopes. I really do like them, and I wish we hadn't gotten rid of the ones in my life throughout my life. I had a vacuum tube scope at one point. That would have been really fun. But yeah, there's a lot of cool vintagey scope things that you can do. The digital ones are so good now that they can kind of do everything that the old ones sort of had an advantage of back in the day. Like the persistence and the speed of having an electron gun is now, the LCDs are fast enough now that you can get all those breakneck details from your digital scope. But it's, yeah, it's where things are moving. Plus, being able to do like fast Fourier transfers and other digitally kind of cool things. Having the scope on the intranet and being able to remote into it is pretty damn cool. Why do you not just fall out now? Oh, there's one more. Ouch. These are sharp. Ouch. Owie, ow. Stop it. Thing bit me. So the file is just to get rid of the remnants of these little tabs. Little tabs are a way that you put your one design of a bunch of boards all together for manufacturing. And they often have you specify how many designs are in your files, because they'll charge you per design, per their rules. People were getting around, you know, the limitations of one design per manufactured board by having like 6 boards on one thing, because they have like 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters, and you fit whatever you can in there and have all these big openings around it. Nowadays, they have all these rules for what you're allowed to do with this. We got lots of test points on this, which is good, because I have a feeling this circuit is so vastly complicated that we're going to have a real hard time troubleshooting it, like a real, genuinely difficult time. I collected way too many tube scopes. Yeah, but they're neat. I think there's a museum of them somewhere around. Actually, I don't know where that is. Never mind. I know one person in the Discord is sharing videos of their scope museum. But I remember we contributed. I used to have a job cleaning out the lab storage space at UPenn. And the UPenn labs had all kinds of cool stuff. Like there was a tri-wall cardboard container that was filled with all of the vacuum tubes from ENIAC. I should have taken one. I never did. Yeah, it's out the Tektronix Museum out west. I think somebody posted that. But yeah, I used to have access to all that kind of stuff, like old iodine lasers that were used in research and stuff like that. And there were a lot of scopes. A lot of scopes. There were a lot of vacuum tube scopes in that sort of storage space. We took one home, and the rest of them were given to museums. I don't know what happened to the one we took home. I think that got eventually given to a museum too. It was on a little cart, and that was kind of too much for everybody to deal with. Pretty good. Yeah. Or you do like traces through the, we got an ad. Well, I'm going to, this is boring, so I'm going to finish this before the ad break is up, and then we can get to the good stuff. The cool methods that I'm going to use, and we'll look for standoffs. Dun, 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 dun. I should have like hold music play during this. This is a cool, I mean, this has been a really cool build. I really enjoy this quite a bit. It's more like hardcore circuit assembly. And like you can buy kits for this stuff that have all the surface mount stuff already installed. But I've really appreciated being able to use some of my circuit assembly skills. It's not often I do. And it saves me a boatload of money. Holy crap, does it save me a lot of money. The software, the ad detection, is a function of Twitch. There's something Twitch allows you to do to monitor ads. What? Huh? What do you mean? So, I have a choice on this stream. I can run pre-roll ads, which is where you click. By the way, I don't have any choice about ads, right? We're going to get curious as to how do you do it. Okay, so there's a couple things here. First of all, ads on Twitch are an unfortunate reality that I hate. I hate them. I hate them. I hate ads. I hate them. I hate their guts. I hate everything about them. I would not run ads on my stream because that's not what my stream is about. But Twitch forces me to run ads. Okay, I have a choice. I can either run a pre-roll ad, which means when you click on the page to view my stream, you get served up a couple ads. And then you never get ads again. And so that is less revenue for the streamer, but it's also less what's called discoverability. Discoverability just means that people randomly clicking through streams and looking at cool titles of people doing stuff are like, well, I don't want to watch an ad before. I mean, sometimes they'll ignore that, and pre-roll ads are just fine for your discoverability. But ultimately, it is a barrier between somebody watching your stream instantly, and it will discourage some folks from clicking around Twitch. So in order to keep up discoverability, you can choose to run mid-roll ads. Mid-roll ads give you all kinds of controls. They give you all kinds of controls. You can run a certain number of ads per hour. I can delay ads from running. I can run an ad manually in order to give us more time without ads. There's a little cooldown. It's like a 3-minute cooldown. But yeah, so all those tools are available to streamers in order to cater. And there's our exit from the ads, in order to cater their experience to their show. Because ads are pretty disruptive, and even having like a face cam is pretty disruptive in a stream. So if you're doing a certain type of stream. So that said, Twitch has an API interface. Their API is called PubSub. You subscribe to events, and then they'll let you know when something happens. And so my Node-RED is plugged into, I don't think it's PubSub actually. I think it's plugged into whatever the hell the Twitch API is running today. It's, I don't know, the documentation could be a little bit better, but over here we have event sub. So we're sub to event sub. Event sub is all kinds of different things that it tells us happen. And one of them is that an ad break begins. But that's not good enough for us because we want to actually activate something in OBS. So in part of that packet that we get in the event sub, yeah, I'm not even supposed to be here today. Hey, I have Saturati on my splash screen. When the ad break begins, we peel from that packet the duration, which is always 3 minutes. That's just because of the settings that I chose. It's the least intrusive of the mid-roll ads. So we peel that off, and then we change another packet to mean off, and oh, so this is to control the switch. So we peel that off, we set the packet to mean off, that goes through a filter, and then it goes to the switch to turn the switch off. Then, when a duration is set, so we take that 3 minutes and we make it part of the packet, we convert it to seconds, and then we make it a proper variable or whatever time thing. So that timing goes into what's called a variable timer, and when the variable timer expires, it'll send the on command through a filter to the switch. However, we also want that text to pop up on screen. So when the thing is turned off, we do a toggle, and we have to get a scene ID because the scene ID is weird. It's just the weirdness of the plugins that I use for OBS in order to manually get. You need a scene ID number, but if you switch the scenes in OBS, it'll change the numbers. So instead of having a fixed number, I have to make it fetch the number every time. So it fetches the number for the thing, and then it toggles enabled or disabled on a scene of my specification. And so that's how the text pops up. But then at the delay, an extra delay of 8 seconds, we turn on the spinny light for 5 seconds, and then it gets a packet to turn it off. So that's very complicated, but it is kind of a little like walk around the block in order to get all of that functionality. It was like, hey, if I can do this, I can do that. If I do this, I have to do that. And it looks very complicated, but what it's doing is it's basically just taking a packet from the Twitch API. You can get other streamer tools that do all this stuff and have it, you know, enable like ad break in progress. I wanted to do it through Node-RED because I've got the Node-RED. The next thing that I need to do is make it have a timer. I hope that answers that question of sort of what's going on there. So the MS-22, we are finally ridding it from its circuit board prison. Yeah, it's event sub. Other streamers use streamer tools or programming stuff, probably Python and other things like that in order to get all that functionality. I decided to use Node-RED because it's nice and visual. It's nice and easy and visual. Yes, seeing the workflow is really cool. And Node-RED is not meant to just be a streamer bot, which is why it's able to do so much more. But there's other tools to do the things that I'm doing like that, to have like an ad block timer that are easier. Just removing all these little tabs after I clipped them. Because if my hand catches one of them, even once, I'll be annoyed. I was watching Gonad earlier while cutting liner for that new drill bit organizer drawer that I have. So I didn't type anything in chat. I was an irresponsible viewer. I didn't type anything in chat because I had a drawer in front of me that I was putting a little grippy rubber into the bottom of. Streamer.bot can also do all that stuff. Yeah, there you go. I really enjoy getting Node-RED to do all of my bidding. It does a really good job, and I run it off of a Docker on my server, my file server. All right, now there's fiberglass dust all over everything. Oh, why did I slam that on the desk? I made another pile of fiberglass dust. Okay. All right, and then the trash goes over here. And then I get my posts from down below. Those are over somewhere around here. Where are those posts? There, we're over here. Yeah. I have a big organizer for all the little physical things that we need to build something like this. We'll see if we can find small enough stuff. Ah, what were you guys doing over there? Small enough stuff that we can piece this all together. Okay. So the MS-22 filter is a pretty complicated beast. And so as such, it has many, many layers of PCBs. And they go together something like this. They're all on these standoffs. There's the power connector. And I bought a kit of these standoffs from Amazon. I hope they're useful. And so in order to make this glorious stack of PCBs work, they have standoffs that go standoff to standoff to standoff. So we need to figure out what that distance is, and hopefully we've got the hardware. Node-RED's great for automating stuff. Most people don't have a home lab with an automation server. Yeah, well, you can't expect them to. Cannot expect them to, but I take advantage of of what I have as much as possible. Ooh, it's the smaller size. Okay. That's a little bit more complicated. Actually, wait, this is the smaller size, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Except that we're going to have to... That's not going to fly with these connectors. There will be filing in your future. There will be bitter water. Sorry, old school Juno reactor. Let's see, what do we got? Feels like one of these. Ah, come back here. No, don't leave me. Not again. Oh, that hit the floor. Damn it. Yeah, that's gonna be that one, just the entirety of it. But that is a little bit, I mean, I might need to file that down just a little bit. It looks like it's up a little bit. Didn't come as a kit. Nope, this is not a kit. This is just literally just the PCBs. So I had to buy everything. I had to get everything for it. Oh, no, it's not that size. This is the fun of it, though. This is why I did this. Is because building them on this level is fun, sometimes funny. Fun-y. E-fun. E-fucked? Don't go to that site. Don't go to that site. That's some old school internet stuff. You don't want to see that. This size is, I think, smaller than any of the posts that I have. But the posts are also smaller than anything that I have. So if I want, I could just run a big threaded rod through the whole thing. I might have a large enough... Yeah, it's just about that size, isn't it? And is this the size of the thingy here? This is. So this is what we want. This is what you want. This is what you get. Near, 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 near. I mean, also the thing is, these are brass posts. I might be able to just solder that first post in. Because if these are brass, then if I just do 2 of those... Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We don't need to go through all the trouble of what they have in the tutorial. I can do this better. I can do this better than what they say. What do they know? They only designed it. I'm here on the front lines building the damn thing. Hey, Dr. Plugger, thank you. Thank you for the 64 months. Most of the old school internet stuff is gone. Yeah. It is, for better or for worse. Yep, I did all the soldering myself. Every single component. These things came as completely blank circuit boards. So that means assembling some genuinely small circuit elements. But this is all doable by hand. You're not going to be very confident after doing this all by hand, because this will break down every single psychological advantage, every single little piece of confidence that you may already think you have will be broken. What is C29? Wait a minute. Why is that capacitor not there without a black mark on it? The ones with the black mark are the ones that can be that can be not installed. You only have... No, I think you have that over there, don't you? Maybe the companies that just do the PCBs are American, but like there's a lot of nonlinear circuits, and like a lot of these different makers have module makers have Britannia. No, not Britannia. They have just circuit boards that they sell. What am I talking about? What am I saying here? I don't even know, man. C44, 100 picofarad. Is that's 100 PF? What was I thinking? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really like taking basically the whole stance on it is, here's the circuit board, good luck. C28, 100 picofarad. Missing. Just completely gone. Ah, same with that one. 100 picofarad. Did I run out of 100 PS? I think I must have. Let's get 100 picofarads from some of the new stuff that I bought before we continue on with a non-functional model. I know, it's eurorack. What do you mean you don't have it? It's not that he's not talking about like not having the modules or anything. It's like they don't sell them as purely a circuit board, which sounds odd to me. That sounds like maybe that's not the case, and there might be a way to source just the PCBs. We need to do some genuinely small soldering in order to get 100 picofarad capacitors onto this board, and those are 0603. If we go anywhere below that, it's torture. So I bought a whole kit of these things, so now I've actually got 0603. These are 0402. I'm not touching these with a 10-foot pole. This MS22, that's what this is, yeah. Voltage controlled filter PCB, yeah, and when you get it, it comes on a big frame where all the boards are mounted. It's pretty cool. They don't even do you the favor of breaking it off of the manufacturing like sized frame. Now I don't know what Steve's MS22 does. I literally just ordered these because they looked cool. Like that was my criteria, and the boards were like $20-ish, I think. And then you end up using up all of your jelly bean parts and having to order more. and then you have to buy all of their eclectic, weird, bespoke parts, and having to order those at like a premium price because they made this thing in 1922, and all the parts have been discontinued. And so you curse and you kick your feet, and then you order all this crap, and there's a whole bunch of tariff bills, and then you finally have all the parts to build them. I love it. I actually love it. I sound like I'm complaining, and I am, but I love that process. I think it's a really cool thing that we're able to source all of these weirdo things. I'm seeing a lot of uninstalled parts that don't have dots on them. I think maybe I ran out of 100 picofarad caps, and that's what's going on. So I'm hooking up my soldering setup again. We were going to hook up the soldering setup once I found posts for this thing. I think what I can do is take just a normal threaded post, lop off most of the threads so it fits, and then solder the brass to that via, and that's that. That's our fixed post that everything else can screw into and tighten up against. I'll have to store a lot of components and build something with it. Yeah, I mean, as you build these, you buy a couple extra components for everything, and if you're lucky, one day you get a module, like the Echo module, that happens to have a chip that you had in a kit of audio, through-hole audio chips that people like to use. And so it's like, this magical, absolute magical moment of going, wait, I've heard that number before, I think I have one, and then you find it. We may need to get a little closer. Maybe not. Maybe I can keep you guys at a kind of a standoffish distance here. I don't need to actually know who you are, what you like, or what you like to eat, your favorite foods. I don't think I need to know all of that information. I think we can keep you guys away from me. Just stay away. I can hear you breathing. Can you please take a step back? All right. So usually with 0805, I'm this far away. Me when I'm soldering 0805, far away, in my lane, thriving. This thing has like fiberglass dust on it, and it looks terrible in this camera for some reason. I don't know why this camera's looking a little weird today. Did I put a big fingerprint on the lens or something? Okay, so this is 0603 size. It's an English standard. It's in mil, not metric. Mil is not millimeter. Mil is a fraction of an inch. It's very annoying. We didn't invent it. You guys did. It's you, Brits mainly, brought it over to us, and our machinists started using it. And when we had to get precise, like we do with circuit boards, we used a mil. It's annoying. I wish we had gone with the metric standard. You guys needed to drill that into us better. It's not our fault. So anyway, I've got a couple capacitors here that I didn't have, which are 100 picofarads. You can maybe make that a little bit better. I need to get the zoom and the focus control on some kind of a servo so that it doesn't shake like that. I have to manually do it with my mitts. MS-22 is inspired by the MS-20 filter. My first synth was the Micro Korg, which is a virtual analog MS-20. Oh, that's cool. Freaking mills. Yeah, there's another one, but whatever. I use metric when I design circuit boards because I'm civilized, but you don't have to. And then all the stuff is in mil. Your trace spacing, your stuff like that. And so 0805 is 8 mil by 5 mil, and that's the size above what I'm working with right now. Are these too big? No, that's about the size. Okay. So I need to find, what was it again? It was 100 pico. The problem with capacitors, though, is that each of these values are different delineations. So capacitor chart. So I like to have the chart open because I'm dumb and I don't know how to do conversions. Yeah, mil is 0.001 inch. I do everything in metric, though. I just keep it in millimeters and everybody's happy. Okay, picofarad, nanofarad, microfarad, puff, nuff, and uff. All right, listen. Bother, why do you say it like that? Because I have to say it, and I'm not going to go picofarad and push it's puff, uff, and nuff. Come on. That's easy enough to say, and we can say puff a lot and sound like we're a bunch of Cockney Brits talking about gay people. But also, it's, I mean, whatever. It's just fun to say things with a nickname, so screw you. PF, NF, and mu F. It's microfarad, and it's a mu. It's not an UF, and it's capital F farad. All right, so we need 100p, which is 0.1 nano, which is 0.00. I can guarantee you that's not what's printed on these. I don't think we're going to find 0.1 nano, so it'll probably be 100 PF. And luckily, this place used a stamp. It's very nice that it's not handwritten. Probably also for the people that are tasked with organizing these, but also for my purposes of having to read somebody's handwriting, it's nice. These are sort of this is 10 UF. These are sort of like my backup capacitors. I ordered this kit and it's pretty good. It has a lot of stuff in it. What I generally use are these binders. These binders that are filled with sample parts are amazing for your shop. They're about $40, I believe, each. It's pretty expensive, but they've got all of the passive like capacitors and resistors of a particular size that you would need to build stuff if you're building generic stuff. I've got tons of them, and they're amazing. My dog will not stop barking. I wonder if she's having a friend over. She's going crazy. 22, 5.6N. So we're either looking for 0.1 N or 100p. I should probably just do this end to end. This is the problem with these. These aren't organized, so it's a little harder to find what you're looking for. 10, 1, 22. Try to keep the text all in the same size. 1 nano. Not 0.1. 100 nano? Wait a minute. 100p is what we're looking for. 100p. 470p. There is a particular value that I don't have that I put into this thing, and I hope that doesn't bite me in the ass, because with capacitors, a lot of the time, you just get kind of close, because if you actually look at the value of the capacitor on like a meter, it's all over the place. The statistics are just crazy, and while it works in equations, wiggle room is always factored in for parts like this. Because if you're manufacturing 100 of these filters, you want to make sure that they're not going to be all that variable, with your parts coming in as cheap, super variable. 6 pico? That's a weird one. 100 pp. Oh, that's an F. Okay, that's what we want. This is all statistical. Did I mention to you guys that I'm a homegrown American, born in the hospital of West Philadelphia? I know Prince, born and raised, but I actually was. My birth certificate's from the hospital of West Philadelphia, and I grew up in Philly, moved out to the burbs, never lived in a state. I've always lived in a commonwealth. I lived in Virginia for a little while, and yet I still can't say stuff properly. Stupid my language is, that it's several different languages in a trench coat, and also a bunch of colloquialisms, and then a bunch of shibboleths. Manayunk, the Schuylkill Expressway. Oh, bothers the Fresh Prince. I get that a lot online. I don't get that a lot from friends, because we're all from here, but I was actually, born in the hospital of West Philadelphia. So I actually was born in West Philadelphia, not Lower Merion, Will Smith. Speaking of P. No, hey. No speaking of P. Why speaking of P? Speaking of hernias, like who said that? It's Pico. The new Liquid Death ad campaign encourages everybody to go bottle their pee and mail it to an AI data center. What the fuck? Like, what are they out here starting wars? Jeez. Is this starting off the water wars? What is that? Liquid Death. Slow your roll a little bit, man. You guys sell cans of water. What the fuck? Who asked? We're going to get a little closer. I'm going to move this scope a little closer just so I have better focus control. Like, damn, dude. Take it easy. I should put a bubble level on this. That might be a good idea. If anybody's going to speak of pee, it's somebody named Poopsie Doodle. That doesn't justify it, though. No. Everything seems dark. Why is this so dark? And like blurry. I can't. Feels very blurry. Troubleshooting this thing is going to be an absolute nightmare. There's just so much circuitry, but I feel like, is this out of focus right here? Or is it, okay, you know what it is? The silk screen markings on this board are out of focus. They're fuzzy. They may have used Seed Studio to make this board. I'm recognizing some features of this, the board that they feel kind of familiar. All right, so let's get these 100 PFs on the board that I forgot. And then we'll figure out standoffs. And then we can put all the connectors on. All the external stuff. And then we'll have something that looks like a Steve's MS-22, but it is not an MS-22. In fact, it is some bullshit that I put together that may or may not actually function, depending on the quality of my soldering bed. All right, we got the needle tip on. Although I don't typically use the needle tip because you want to have a lot of heat for this stuff. This stuff will thrive if you've got tons of heat, but the needle tip will do okay for putting on these remaining 100 picofarad capacitors. It still seems completely out of focus. I don't know. I'm going to adjust it again in just a little bit, but you guys are going to get adjustment fatigue where the streamer plays with their setup too much. And if I keep playing with my setup like that, it's going to fall off. So having the right sized capacitors is nice. That happened after I ordered a bunch of stuff. It was not that way before. And so I'm going to struggle to kind of go through the other parts of the circuit that I half-assed or, you know, put a kludge on like that. Wow, so much solder on that. And then the other 22, I think I'm covering over with the arm. No? Oh, no, it's right there. Mason jars pre-labeled data center coolant. Jeez. You know, that's cute, but there are better ways to get about that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's pretty close. It's a little claustrophobic. Oh. Can you guys try to keep your head up? There we go. There we are. Okay. Oh, what is happening with that one? Looks weird. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I should just take hot air to the whole thing just to kind of tamp everybody down. See, now this looks like 0805. It looks like easy soldering, but it's not. Everything is extremely small. This is a very advanced build. The MS-22 is a very advanced build. It is right up at my skill level. But like the tiniest little movement here, that's too much solder. Ideally, you come in with a low angle, heat the pad, and then apply solder to just the pad. And then boom, there. Boom, head shot. And then you bring in your part that hopefully remains flat, and you slide it into position. Now I tap the top to make sure it stays level. Slide it in, let it get cozy. Bob's your uncle. Presumably that's not completely tombstoned. Tombstoning is when the part stands up because, god damn it, I just broke my solder. This solder breaks very easily, it's very thin. But when a part tombstones, that's when the surface tension of all the solder here pulls your part vertical and it stands up like a tombstone. Bring the heat, bring the noise, come on. Oh, that didn't work at all. There we go. Clean that up. All right, good. That one looks a little weird. I guess there's no flux over there, so it's kind of sloppy. Okay, and then back over to this. Did I solder both ends? I guess I did. No. Did I? It looks like I did. No, I didn't. Okay, no. It looks like there's solder there, but everything's so small. All right, set that down there. Let it heat. No. Well, good enough. That ain't the way it should go down. You can see the solder wrap its way all the way up to the top of the little C-clamp of solderable end. This kind of stuff, the Black & Decker toaster ovens with IR lamps inside are great for reflow before you put the plastic parts on. Yeah. Well, this would be a good candidate to do reflow on. I had the dream of finishing that pick and place machine that I wanted to build, and then using the pick and place to very carefully put all the parts down where they should go, and then reflowing the whole thing at once. Because doing this in an oven with solder paste is the ideal way to do it. That really does get all of your components down, and they all center themselves, and they look nice. And I have gone over parts of this board with a heat, the heat gun, but I probably should also have fluxed them. But I don't like to do that because then you have an excess of flux on everything, and it's just sloppy. I don't like all that sloppiness. This will do just fine as it is. Sometimes with the 0603s, these are small enough that you can get heat to go all the way through the chip to the other side, and then that will allow you to bump it just a little bit into centering itself. Look, yeah, I saw that flow almost immediately to the other side, but it's not moving when I tap it. But you get a feel for it. This is going to be a beast to troubleshoot. Okay, that's fine. Those are fine. Okay, no more missing parts on this side. On this board, we need to bring up the other board because that has the other 100 picofarads. So let me get this out of the thing. Now, we don't need to drown everything in flux. We are not Louis Rossmann. You guys have only ever seen Louis Rossmann working on stuff. You always come in here and tell me that I need more flux, and you don't know what you're talking about. We do use flux. I'm not anti-flux. I am anti-loads and loads of flux. I do not need to bathe in flux in order to operate my machinery. But yeah, a reflow toaster would be pretty neat. I certainly don't have one. Well, no, I do have toasters that I could use, and I do have a reflow oven, like a professional one, but I don't need to do that. We still have a lot of troubleshooting to go through with the actual elements, the circuit elements of this thing. So let's just get this working. Those 100 PFs are why I bought that capacitor kit. But by the time the capacitor kit came in the mail, I forgot. Two more. The problem is when a kit like that, like a loose cut tape capacitor kit, starts to run out of values. What do? Do you buy another one? Well, now you've got a bunch of values that you rarely ever use. Your collection ends up getting a little weird. I mean, you can buy individuals too, but it's really cost prohibitive too. I can't afford flux like Rossmann. Flux is cheap if you're doing work like Rossmann, and if you're working on particularly Apple stuff where everybody's rich, you know, you can afford that flux. But I don't want to drop everything into an ultrasonic every time I touch stuff. Yeah, I've got these, the sample books are about $40. I buy them on Amazon directly from China, but I label them as to what they are on the side. I bought two new ones, which one of them is just simply replacing a whole bunch of 0805 SMD bins that are in the thing there. So I'm gonna have much more storage space as a result. And then the other one is replacing the 0603 capacitor, or 0603 resistors, which I think is that one there. So one of these replaces one of them, and then this gets a little shorter. The problem with it is, though, the cut tape is bent. It comes like this, right? And so they fill those binder sleeves up with all these things like this, and so all the binder pages are bent. So what I do is I take the whole sleeve out, and then I reverse the one, and then you kind of have to bend it against the table a little bit, and that gets rid of the bend, and it sits nice and flat, and so you can get it on a bookshelf with all of your other SMD books. But yeah, I definitely use those binders. They are, in my opinion, they are the best way to organize those types of passives. And you can find stuff quickly. It's really nice. Really, really nice. Father, why are you using solder? What the hell just happened there? I think this heated up the solder there, and it... All right. There's my iron. I would have taken you guys through the process of building this part of it, but this was really, really boring. It was, oh my god, tears in my eyes, boring. It was bad. It was real bad. Where'd the other cap go? There it is. It was like, because you got to go one thing at a time, and the MS-22, like, all love for all of these module makers, but none of them do things properly, and so they had you go through bit by bit identifying what everything was, and it's all in a weird order, and oh my god. This one was as close to how things should be done as any of the other module makers. Oh, I can sneak that over a little bit. But they also did revisions inline instead of having the revisions just be part of what was there. They have to build, oh, by the way, don't install this component. Oh, by the way, install this component. And it's like, we don't need to know. You just don't, just say blank, list them as a blank component as a revision to a table. I'll explain myself better at some point. Right now, I just want to finish. That's a little weird. Did that actually? I think it did. I'll give it like a little dollop. Now it's too much. Now it's too much. Now it's too much. Now you're trying too hard. Ugh, whatever. I'm gonna leave it. Let it be sloppy. That's one of those things where I'm viewing this in the exact same way that you guys are, the same perspective and everything. So when I'm like this and I'm moving very slowly, it's because I'm lowering the soldering iron, trying not to crash into anything in the immediate vicinity. So I lower the iron very carefully. Okay, I think that was the last of them, the missing components. All of this stuff was hand soldered in the way you saw me soldering earlier. You don't necessarily have to do that, but when you're spelunking through 10,000 bins, putting all of these various values of chip on here without attaching them is a little nerve-wracking. It's just a little bit nerve-wracking. So you kind of want to solder them in individually. Although I guess what you could do is get a bunch of the surface mount bins that I have and do bins of different components, and then those get picked and placed onto the board individually all at once, and then you lose your eyesight for a little bit, and when your eyesight comes back, you put it into an oven to solder everything all at once. That may be the way to do something like this in the future, if I had the pick and place. Although I might have gotten away with it without the pick and place. I could have probably hand tweezered everyone into position and then hooked the whole thing in an oven. Although anything beyond that, I probably would want to pay to have it assembled and just not have to deal with it. This one was like way off to the side. I think that cap was getting in the way of my pushing. I'm trying to just give it a little nudge, and eventually it'll heat through the element until it solders the other side. But right now it's just kind of being a jerk. Let me push you. All right, all right, that one's not worth it worrying about. I think it's making a connection, so that's all that matters. One of the many things that grows legs, yeah. Okay. All right, no more missing components. The ones that are marked are supposed to be missing. 100 picos. I don't know if I need anywhere else. Let's take a look and see the other boards that are a little less populated, if there are any sort of open pads that don't have a dot on them, or anything that just kind of looks like it could use a last minute touch up. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't like, but it's not anything that I'm going to alter. Boy, these things are dirty. They got fiberglass all over them. All right, let's brush that off a little bit. That one doesn't really have any components on it. This one we've already looked at, I believe. Yeah, we just put those in. I think we're good. All right, cool. So let's get back to what we're doing. So these come back in, and these go away. All right, how am I going to do this? We've got, I mean, in terms of like standoffs, I do have threaded on both sides, which we can put a bolt through, but they want you to solder the bolt down. So I'm thinking that I could do a threaded insert, but I think my threaded inserts are too big. They're the size of like normal standoffs. They're not like a bolt head. And again, this is where they recommend you solder this thing here. I'll show you guys. Yeah, the bridges on 2 pins are intentional. If there's a bridge between 2 pins that is the exact same width as all the traces on the PCB, that's intentional, and they designed it that way, and the solder mask didn't cover it. Because this board has stuff like that. It's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying to do that. I don't like that because it looks like a solder bridge. Like, is this your card? That's intentionally bridged. So is that one. That's probably the one you saw. Don't mount the M2.5 screws yet. See, this is the problem. Do all that stuff. Then they have you preheating the board and soldering in a screw. That is your card, yeah. That's, I mean, I don't like that. So what we're going to try to do is figure out how to do this without soldering a screw in, and that's either soldering a standoff post or finding something in copper. Oh, got to keep this together. Keep this together. You know, if I have to do something like that, I'll run the trace out and around just so it's obvious that they're connected. I don't think they considered that the person inspecting their board would see a little glint of silver going between 2 pins, and that's like immediately a red flag in our minds. I understand exactly where you're coming from, Poopsie Doodle, because you spotted that from like 700 miles away, right? You were able to see that across a room on the internet, and that's totally valid, and that's a good instinct to say, hey, wait, that's not right. But they're not as good at circuit design. they haven't done the things we've done, and they don't know the pratfalls that we've taken. Maybe they're not pratfalls. The falls. Maybe we just fell. All of the little nonsense that's cost us tens of hours of our time. So they don't know to make it obvious that 2 pins are connected and not have a line in between them that's just right on the unmasked portion. This is all of my hatred to get to these adjustment screws. So we got to figure out what's going to work here, because I know this is too tall. Just having that there. And I don't have copper, I don't have brass screws. That would be really neat. I could put this in from the other side, cut this down, and then solder it in. And then that would fit. That certainly doesn't fit right now. These are silver. Let's see, those are zinc, I believe. I don't think any of my fluxes will allow me to solder to zinc, and that'll pop off almost immediately anyway. In a few instances, a few like rare instances, I have seen brass hardware, like brass nuts. And this is too tall, but if I come at it from the other side with like a M2.5 screw, these are, I think, yeah, these are larger. Wait, what is the other size then? M2 to M3? What kind of psycho? Wait a sec. Oh no, I need M2.5. Oh, my threaded inserts are psychotic. They neglect M2.5 size. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Clipping more? Let's try that, because there is an error where this thing clips a lot. It seems like my volume is a lot higher than it was, too. You don't hear a clip? Okay, my voice is just a little bit more rugged. I forgot to put this back. Oh, jeez. Man, my stomach is real bad today. I don't think I'm gonna puke again, but actually I should drink water. That sounds a little more normal. I think that's sometimes I need to unplug and replug my my mic pack. That's just, I don't know what that is. It's something about the circuit that I use. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna take a big sip of water. Hopefully that does something. Settles me down a little bit. Yeah, I was saying my voice is sounding a little bit different because I puked this morning. I don't know what it is. Stomach full of pills, basically, I think is the main reason. Do I have any M2 hardware? I think that's a little small for my liking. Spectrum Analyzer shows no clips either. All audio runs from my digital audio workstation. Damn. That's pretty hardcore. Yeah, I would like to get this done with normal hardware, but I think maybe we need to switch to weird hardware to get it done. Oh, but I don't have standoffs in that size, and if I keep using those bolts, then I would need something that goes through all of the layers of this thing, and I don't think it would hold it very steadfastly. So I think we have to use the M2.5. I think we have to use the M2.5, and I need to shorten them. I guess I probably need to shorten all of them. Let's collect parts and see if we can even do this in the first place. So we wouldn't be using the blank ones because we're going one into the other. So we need to use the ones that have a little screw post on the end. So like this one's already cut. But it's larger. Damn it. Too bad. That would have been perfect. Imagine the audiophiles would hate listening to Twitch in general. Oh, it's boy, oh, howdy, the audiophiles. No, they would hate it. Because the streamers don't do anything to their audio. They plug everything in, and if it works, it works. But then, like, you know, I've recommended some pretty nice hardware to people before, and they didn't do anything to try to compress the audio. And so it would be just like audible talking and then just clipping explosions and screaming. And the dynamic range is too great. And then you see musicians, professional musicians on Twitch, and they have way too much range. And they're going, oh man, this song is crazy, I can hear it. And you're like, I can't fucking hear that. You have all the dynamic range in the world, and yet my, like, good audio setup can't hear shit that's going on. I fix the audio myself when it's bad. Yeah, it needs it. It needs it. Nobody's compressing anything. Whispers and explosions. And then they think a good audio mix is where you can't hear shit, and yet goes for coffee when the ads play. Yeah, it's insane, man. I don't know. So, oh, that's the wrong size. Damn it! I thought I found a huge amount of them. So this one gets soldered in place and cut. The next one, oh, other way around. Hold on, I'm gonna plan this one out. This way and soldered. This way and soldered. This way and soldered. This one. That looks to be about the height. I hope it is. These standoffs are generally designed to fit with, you know, normal stuff. Yeah, that is. Okay, good. That'll do just fine. That'll do. Ad break. I didn't even see that. Usually I hear the little click. All right. Well, we're going to wait. Actually, I have a tool for this. I keep these weirdo tools that you just find in the back of a drawer at a place that does electrical engineering stuff. Wait, which one fits these? One of these does. The one that yeah, this one does. Nope, it was the other one. Just didn't seem like it. Oh yeah. We're just waiting for an ad to expire. Yeah, that does grip it. Okay. Yeah, these need to be filed down a little bit. They don't. They should have something like a washer in there, but or is that just? Yeah, it can't pinch onto the circuit board. So yeah, these are fun. Oh gee, wait, I see ads. I suppose, lol. You should be able to read this text in the small window. I do need to get a timer on this so that we know how long the ad break's gonna last. They're 3 minutes. I don't have the window up right now. Let me. Oh, you need to add. It's bad ad. Oh, there's our indicator that we're back. The little spinny light. Yeah. So anyway, running these ads. How's it going, Unethical? We need to file these down a little bit before they'll work, and then I need to figure out how many of them I need. It's a lot of them because we'll have that there for the next board. I'm just gonna do this, and then we'll file them down. I should probably get the Dremel to do that, but I don't like using power tools. I mean, I do, but I don't. it's a whole thing. It's just annoying to go get them. Yeah, we need to find more of these. Is there life on Mars? Okay, I don't know why that's in my head. It's just okay. I'm like out of those. Problem. Excuse me. Excuse me. These are the wrong size. This one's the wrong size. Put that over there with its buddies. I'm doing good, ish. I threw up this morning because I had pill stomach. I'm a diabetic. I take a lot of pills. I inject a lot of insulins. My pump woke me up by running out of insulin. And then I did that, and then I drank a bunch of water, and then my stomach decided to empty out because I've had diabetes for 31 years. 31 years with diabetes, and you eventually get something called gastroparesis, which is where your stomach doesn't empty out. And so my stomach finally decided to empty out, which is great. It's totally fine. My glucose levels normalized. Everything was going great until I had to take a bunch of pills. Once I took a bunch of pills, my stomach went, wait a minute, dude, that's not food. And decided to said, everybody out. Everybody out. And so I threw up this morning. And as a result, my voice is a little bit gravelly, just a little bit. If I get worse, if I go to a concert and come back right now, I will sound completely gravelly. Apparently, if I smoke cigars for like a living, I would have a really awesome sounding voice. I wouldn't quite be corpse something or other. Who is that? That streamer who sounds just like a corpse. It sounds like he ate a gravel factory. But no, Corpse Husband, I think it was, should literally just only speak in Shakespeare quotes. Yeah, Corpse Husband. Okay, I got that right. I would sound like that if something horrible happened to my voice, or if I did damage to it in any way. If I was a metal artist that didn't know how to preserve their voice in spite of making guttural noises, because that happens sometimes. These metal singers don't know how to do it without damaging their voice. It's not hard to learn either. Need to go to a vocal coach. Preserve thy voice. Most of the stuff that you hear in media does not necessarily damage your voice. But yeah, I gotta get the standoffs from these other bins and organize them a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, throwing up is not good for your voice. Do you want to lay down some tracks? I've got to hear your voice. No. It's that thing, that whole interloper. Wait, I gotta be sitting up straight to make it happen. Interloper. Like that kind of thing. I can't make that very loud, but it is fun to do because your whole chest vibrates with it. But it helps that I threw up earlier. It does just enough minor vocal weirdness. This should go with standoffs. I'm just looking in other bins to see if I can find what the hell are we up to here. Yeah, Megatron. Did that come through on the mic? That unsettled a couple burps. Jeez. The pop filter is only to catch food particles from those weird burps that you do. You should not be using a pop filter with any kind of a professional mic. You should just have good microphone etiquette, which means talking slightly to the side of the mic while in the sweet spot, so that your puzz and your buzz don't blow air onto the element. But a lot of people don't know that, and so pop filters are literally just there so that the sound engineers can get you away from their precious microphones. There's no standoffs. I think I'm out of standoffs. That's not good. Do I have any other like bins of I don't think I do. Any other kinds of standoff? I've been relying on that standoff bin for years, and I think it's finally depleted to the point where I need to actually consider buying more. How annoying is that? All right, so I need to figure out how I'm assembling this thing. I mean, the other method would be to put an M3 through the whole thing. I don't know, that's not a good way. That's not good, that's not good. Soldering the one in is definitely something that I think is going to happen, and then I guess I need to order a set of brass posts. We need a channel redemption for Megatron voice. Is that listen, I wasn't a Transformers kid. I wasn't very big into Transformers. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I'm certainly not a Transformers adult. The Transformers adults are a bit much. So I have a choice. If I'm going to order parts, I could just get, what is this? An M2.5 brass bolt. Or cap head or whatever. And then I could use, well, I need to use somebody's ordering, somebody's ordering carpet cleaner. I guess I could get something like this for the first step, but then the subsequent steps would be the threaded standoff. Let's go with this again. M2.5 standoff. What size are we looking at? I'm gonna get just that size. What are the parts? Show me your bill of materials. Those are just parts. I think it's at the beginning. Yoink. I mean, this is a nice tutorial. It is a nice tutorial. I appreciate it very much. Okay, you know what? Nothing about standoff. Are you kidding me? How are they assembling it? Yeah, they got the same things, only they have a bolt through the back. I see. That's a little weird. I mean, you could solder this first one to the board, and then you would have one, and then a screw in the back. But I guess you got stuff sticking out the back anyway. I use a pop filter because the cardioid pattern on the mic I use is so small that I can't be off axis at all. I use that mic so I don't have to do much processing to remove the sound of the AC and the server fans. I see. Well, that's one way of going about it, but I mean, like, honestly, like, just knowing where that spot is and adjusting properly and then speaking just to the side of your mics just to avoid blah, 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 blah. But again, it's the pop filters are there in order to tell your artists where to put their face. So that's the alternative use of it. I hear so many of these Twitch people going, oh, I need to get a pop filter for it. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Learn how to use mic. They have like a bolt in there. What? How do they even afford that? Oh, redeeming farts. I am Megatron. And they've got the right kind of alpha jacks. Is that why you see singers resting their face against the thing? Yeah. And literally the sound engineers are just putting the pop filter on there to get them away from their microphone. Move away just a little bit, please. It sounds so much better. I was hoping I would get a height of those things so that I could order the right thing, but I'm not seeing that mentioned anywhere. Let's see. Maybe they mentioned the post here. Cheese head screw. Screw should be... I hate this font so much. Between two objects. Okay. I can't read this font. Yeah, they're putting shortened posts. Interesting. They've got like these weird shortened posts. Oh, wait, I might actually have a bunch of these. Hold on a second. Those are for like sockets, for like DB connectors. So I think I have a bunch of those. I think DB connector sockets are the play here. That or I used them up. I might have used them up on something. I might need to order them. That's fascinating. So they're using DB connector sockets, which are a little bit more stout than your typical screw post, which is usually very annoying. But in this case, it's quite clever. Did I have a collection of them is the question. The question is, do I have anything resembling a part that I need? No. No, I do not. No, I don't. Why would you think that? Where do I have DB connector hardware? Pop filters are like auto-tune. I don't know. That's a little harsh. That's a little much. What about you? Oh, maybe in this one. I don't think there's standoffs in here. This is like weird drone screws. How about you? This one. What are in here? Well, there's some weird standoffs in here, but I don't think the ones we're looking for. Where would I have put DB connector stuff? I guess I don't have that kind of... Well, no, I have to have this stuff somewhere here. It has to exist. Ordered CH341A. I got 2 back. One was busted. For some reason, they sent it along like champs, giving me a challenge. Now I have 2 fixed ones. What is the CH341? I've heard that before. I'm just going to cut and paste that into a window so I sound like I know everything. I mean, it's like, you know, oh yeah, that's something, huh? Is it a programmer? An EEPROM programmer? Oh, it is. I knew that already. I'm smart. That's literally what like Car Talk does, or what is it? The Tappet Brothers or whatever. The NPR guys that do Car Talk. They will joke around, and as they're joking around, I just see them frantically searching like the VW Vortex forums for whatever this poor person's problem is, and then they come back with, oh, ha ha ha, that was fun. Anyway, so your problem is that you fixed the broken EEPROM programmer. That's cool. What was wrong with it? They were like challenging you to see if you could fix it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for any of these shortened stand. Here's another standoff that should go in the standoff bin. Jeez. Why do I have a standoff bin if the standoffs don't end up in the standoff bin, you know? This is like Electronics Shop 101. Who's been reorganizing this stuff? I gotta talk to my people and see who's been throwing these standoffs where they don't, but these are aluminum, but still. I think Louis Rossman's been sneaking in here and rearranging my shit. Actually, that sounds way more, that has way more connotations than I'd like. That's not what I meant. Oh, I remember these. These are super fancy. Well, wait, that one has a screw in it. Never mind. Yeah, I think I'm a little boned for this this module. We can still continue to put it together, but I've got to order standoffs. Like every single time I've tried to do something here, I have been hit by lack of parts. It's kind of amazing, actually, how specialized some of these modules are. Poor Lewis. USB pin 3 was bent under USB housing. Oh, that can be fatal for some of these, like where with USB micro, you'd plug it in, and the pin is actually a piece of like copper or brass alloy or something that's shaped like this. But when you plug that thing in, it goes like that, and behind it is the housing, which is grounded, and so when it goes, it'll hit that housing, and so you have a power to ground short. I am not lucking out with these standoff searches. There was some like bespoke hardware that had standoffs on it that it didn't need standoffs, and I was using standoffs as legs. Maybe I could find something like that. That's not gonna have enough of them, I don't think. Maybe something like the resistor decade or this thing over here. No, it looks like I would have dumped the standoffs into my standoff bin, which is probably where those came from. Yeah, nothing there. So if there were, oh, here's this thing. Oh, but I don't have the header that would plug into, that one has a guard on it. This would plug into Clouds to program it, I believe. Or is that too small? No, that is the right size. The Clouds programmer. So this is what I could use to program Clouds, but I guess I could just use the JTAG too. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know why Clouds isn't doing the I2C communication. I'm gonna look at that tomorrow. Just remember that that's there. I'm looking for standoffs. We're trying to do something physical. As usual, I'm failing. There's gotta be, okay, where else standoffs? Think standoff, chat. We're not doing hot glue. No, no, no. I'm not doing the hot glue thing. No, 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 no. Oh, which one looks cool? I'm just trying to think. If I were a standoff and I was hungry, would I eat myself? There's a whole bunch of DB hardware. That does not include any kind of a standoff thing. No, don't have it. I'm gonna have to order brass standoffs, and then just that pretty much does it. Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, I've never needed that much circuitry on something. I think it would drive me absolutely nuts. I mean, I guess in the design you would just put like the spacers, the header spacers or whatever, that would take your signals from one board to the other. But it seems like a really good way to go insane. And then troubleshooting that is going to be just a nightmare. It's just going to be a nightmare. Oh, maybe in here. This is some old hardware. That might include DB connector. I want to make it because it looks amazing. It's an analog filter too, so there's no like, not a lot of digital stuff going on, and all the soldering is 0603 size. So I actually had a really good time just kind of sitting down with a pot of coffee and putting it together. But it is a difficult build. It's a lot of very, very small parts that go in, but they kind of guide you through it. It's pretty decent. And from what I hear, it's a really good filter to have. People have said, oh, that's an MS-22. That's kind of cool. Or Dave has one, or Julian just going, I want one, make one for me. And I'm like, no, like, because it's actually a fairly involved build. It's been a lot of work. It's been a long road. The spacers that are in here are crazy. It's like every kind of weird spacer, and there's not an even amount of any of them. And they're all too big or too weird. These are the DB ones. Let's see what we got. That one has hardware already on it. That's not good. And there's certainly not enough of them. And it's a very uneven collection. This is probably why I avoided using them. Hey, if I can use up this whole collection, the next time I need something like this, I'll just buy a coherent collection of this kind of stuff. So maybe it's for the best. Let's just see. I want to make it just because it looks good. That's a strange reason, so I guess I support that. Should do the audio stuff. I only have a passive buzzer for now. Gotta start somewhere. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere. See, these just shaved down a little bit so that they screw in all the way would have been perfect. They're just the right distance, and they're probably the right assembly methodology, and so that's why I kind of really wanted to use the little brass standoffs. But I think maybe going over to the DBs, we might be able to do something. Heat shrink tube spacers and string. A couple of tiny zip ties. No. Before I get to that, I would get a massively long bolt and just do a long thread through the whole thing. That would have been that method. But I mean, it's like I can still keep that, I think. Although these are probably English sized, so. But I don't think I have enough of these to do anything meaningful. I think maybe the larger ones might. Yeah, see, that's not compatible. Yep, different. It's a different thread standard. That's why I was in that other bin. Yeah, none of these are 2.5. And so what would I need? I would need these and bolts because they're too short. It's the same deal with what they were doing. And I would need to shorten them, but how many do I need to build the whole thing? Let me look at that picture again. picture of the side of the board. 6. How do I not have 6 of a thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would need some kind of a bolt that I could solder to the top. So I could find one more of those. And I think we searched through this pretty heavily. These I've only got 4 of, but these are an inch standard. These are compatible with these. So I should probably keep these together. Although I think it's this that they're compatible with. Yeah, that's what they're compatible with, which is weirder to find. And they're also brass. That one's brass-ish. I guess it doesn't matter if they're brass after the first one. Oh, and it also doesn't have threads on the other side. What? Yeah, those don't work together, but these work together. So this, and this. All working together. This one's already been shortened. And these are not M3. These are an English size, so they're not compatible with these, which I could have soldered on. Yeah, that's okay. So that's the deal with that. That's what's going on there. Those are all in that weird bin because they are all English sized. This is just to remind me of what's compatible. So if I could find one more of the short standoffs, I would have trouble with the first jump, but I would have enough stuff to complete the whole thing. It needs to be a threaded one. I guess Loctite would remedy that. I could just solder or attach some threads into there. Sanding down a post is going to be way too annoying. I'm not going to do that. I've had times on stream where in order to make my own hardware, I've put like a threaded post into the milling machine, and it was a disaster. It did not work very well. It did make what I wanted it to make, but it was not good. It was a pretty big waste of resources. At this point, I might just buy another standoff kit because we've used up all the stuff that I've wanted to use. And I don't think there's a way that I can solder some of these bolts. These things are like zinc coated. They're not brass. So I don't think I could really solder them very effectively to the top of the thing. And if Amazon had like a 2-pack of brass, M2.5 brass bolts, I would be happy. I'd finally be happy. But that would mean that I would only need one more, which would make altering one of these a little bit more palatable. Man, I need like the ultimate hardware kit that just has everything in it, so I don't have to worry about hardware after buying it, and just buy that and have it around. But you never know if you're going to need posts or you're going to need like one thing or the other. It's like there's a lot of hardware under the sun, you know? A lot of hardware under the sun. I tell myself repeatedly to try to make the point stick in my own brain, because it's screaming right now. My own brain is screaming. All right. Just one of those really short posts is all I need, and there has to be like a loose one around here somewhere, but I just can't. It's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna be the one to find it. All right. Order my way out of this. There's not a single brass post in this whole thing. Like an accidental brass post in this one. These are like the derelict English parts instead of the metric ones. It stands to reason that like a fake one would end up in here, and I'd be like, oh no, oh look at that, how did that get in here? No. No, I should be so lucky. The desperation when I get to this bin is palpable. The ultimate hardware kit wouldn't even fit in the shop. You'd need a warehouse. I would love to have a warehouse, like a brick one that's fallen apart, with like a bed in the corner. No, it's the you ever play the game Teardown? The voxel speedrunning game where you like tear through the walls and stuff. It's the base station warehouse from Teardown. That's where my ideal Oh Bother shop. It's just got a little TV room in the corner on a couple pallets, and then there's a ladder that'll get you to like a bedroom setup. Everything else is space for project. That place is probably infested with mice, though. Let's be honest. Oh, are these are English too, or are these are M3? These are M2.5, and M2.5 is what I need. And M2.5 in the entire shop, I only have 5. These are the maker beams are M2.5 as well, right? Nope, they're M. Are these M2? These are surely. No, these are M2.5. Yeah, because M3. I thought I was so clever. I was just going to solder in one of these posts, and it would have worked perfectly. Pseudo Maze, hi Bother, how you doing? For 24 months, heck yeah. You know how we do. We doing. That's all I can report. I'm having trouble finding hardware. This is not a new problem. Where else have I put? I mean, everywhere, man. It's like every real project is using copper standoffs. Oh my god, causing an avalanche. Every real project uses the brass standoffs, rather. I mean, I've got, you know, there's an Arduino right here that has brass standoffs on it, although these are too big. Anything that's got spacers, huh? I'm seeing a bunch of spacers, but none of them are quite what I'm looking for. You live in a hardware store, but one that's not organized in a way you remember. It's not that it's... No, I remember where stuff is. No, it's just I'm some select types of hardware I'm starting to run out of, which means that we've been healthily doing projects. It's a healthy thing. It's kind of... sort of, kind of, sort of a little bit. Let's see what this is. I hear Willow doing zoomies upstairs. There's an orange LED in here. Some other stuff. This is one of those like weird component dumps. You never really know what you're gonna find. Like this valve stuff I actually need for the pick and place. I should get that out of here. Remember to keep every project in mind at all times. No standoffs. Let's try the other one. I know this is the weirdest box. This one is the... I don't know if I really need that box anymore. I should probably go through and just call it on a couple of those things. Wait a second. What do I see here? Wait a minute, hold on. I see the reason that I'm missing so many of those. The thing that I haven't even finished building yet. This thing, I'm just gonna steal one of these, or multiple of these. The module testing module has a stack. Oh, wait a minute. No, never mind. No, never mind. That's using tall standoffs. Oh wait, but there's a couple short ones over here. Yeah, here I just found the missing one. The missing no. Okay, can I please just get that one threaded again so I can move on, please? Okay, you know what? You stay there. I don't need that. I don't need it. I gotta remove this layer. This is supposed to be a big wire wrap circuit, and everything's gonna be held up on these 3D prints so that it's serviceable and reliable, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. So I'm going to move that over there, and I'm going to steal one of, well, actually three of these standoffs, because that's what will help us finish this module, and then I'll have time to order more standoffs, a pack of 100 of these things, so I don't have to worry about this again. All right, there we go. Now I have 3 more of the little standoffs. That's where they all went. They all went towards the wire wrap thing for some reason. The difference between hoarding and hobbism. Hobbism? You like hobbitism? You could just call it maximalism, I think is what they're calling it now. You're a maximalist? Maximalist? I will touch the sky. Long road. Stupid. Hobbyism. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to have that song stuck in my head for a month. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple bolts on the bottom of this to give me a backstop. And then I'll put a long post on this thing so that I have just like a handle. And then I'll run it over the file to shorten it. All this stuff that you guys watch me do, you guys are better than me. I'm glad it's fun to hang out. I need more topics of conversation in my brain for you because, boy howdy, searching for hardware was not what I expected to be doing all day today. But now we're going to actually modify hardware. So I've made myself a little adapter here so that I can shorten this thing, but not all the way. And then I think for the other ones, I need to have something like 3 of these on there so that I've got only a couple threads sticking through, because when these screw into themselves, they don't, you can see they don't bottom out. So I need about that distance on the end. So actually, yeah, this is probably going to be the rig for all the other ones. So this, I now need to run over the file. I really feel like a power tool might be in order for this, but let's just see how quickly the brass melts away and with the file. We're going to listen to this for a little while, aren't we? I have a belt sander, but I don't have it hooked up in here. Brain rot? What's brain rot? We're not... what's his name? Tongue. Sakur. I like going to the AI brain rot subreddits and watching those videos because they're crazy. They're just insane, and I'm a fan of weird and stupid media. I don't watch it like an iPad kid. This is taking a while. I mean, I wonder if I hook up the finger sander, if that would do. When I unscrew the bolts, that'll hopefully coax the threads back into alignment so that it's able to be screwed into easily. What is that one doing up there? Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I have 6 and then 2 more, so... Jeez, that's a lot. We'll do the soldering next. I mean, you know, take it bit by bit. There's a Del the Funky Homo Sapien song that has that line in it, raise it bit by bit. And so whenever I say I'll do something bit by bit, that song gets stuck in my head. Let me tell you about the protoculture. This is anti-asthma. My filters should filter this stuff out, but keep it from being too grating, but it is very loud. I guess with a Dremel wheel, this would go very quickly. All right, 1 and my fingers are already starting to tense up. I guess I can just go back and forth on it. Oh, that backed out all the way. I have much further to go. Oh my god, that's so much easier. We may go with the wiggle method. I think the wiggle method might be better. The filters are not working. Oh no. Oh yeah, wow, look at that. Smooth. Although still a little crooked. The compressor is clamping properly. Quick, loud noises, I think, are very much anti-compressor. And this is kind of a quick, loud noise. All right, so that's shortened that pretty nicely. And then backing the nuts out will repair the threads a little bit. Oh, well, that one's gone. Oh, no, it's right there. Found it. It fell like right onto my lap. Even though the threads are a little sharp to get like a bolt on, but I think what that'll allow is for enough space to get the potentiometer over top of it. Oh no, it still needs to be, oh no, that one needs to be shorter, specifically, needs to be much shorter. Yeah, if the audio chain wasn't working, your ears would hurt. That's probably true. We're going into a Rodecaster Pro 2, which is running a compressor and a de-esser and a bunch of other stuff. It's actually, for the cost, it was very expensive. That was a very expensive mixer, but it does solve a lot of my audio things in one device instead of in a piece of software. So it can be stuck underneath my module tester with a dust cover on it that's been sticker bombed and permanently just do the work of my lapel mic. And then if it comes to the situation where I get like Uo's Lab Incorporated comes by with like $7,000 and says, hey, we need you for the day to do commentary, I would be able to take that on a plane and hook it up to whatever endpoint audio they have there, and I would sound the same. Jeez. My thumb muscle is not going to recover from that. But the compressor, it's not, your ears wouldn't hurt. Your ears wouldn't hurt. This is about as loud as I'm talking, because it's actually drowning me out. Almost there. We'll do the 2 soldered ones and then leave the rest for later. Because I'll just fire up my belt sander and very carefully, staying as far away from that savage fucking thing as possible, just go boop, and then it'll have reduced this all the way down. That, or I could use the Dremel for it, maybe. Not really supposed to use those cutting discs for grinding, though. It's like each time I look at it, it's just a little bit closer. It's just a little bit closer. Go to this. Just one more, bro. Just one more lane. One more lane, bro. One more lane. Of course, I think the chips are loading up into the thing. Okay, we're almost there. That should probably do, but I'll take it the full way. That's the stuff. All right, cool. That was easy. Ow. You know, this is the one that I could have just cut with flush cutters, because this is just going to get soldered in place. Because, yeah, now that fits. Now I have to do the same thing to another one of them. Well, actually, let's just test to see that the one goes in smooth first. So in order to keep this thing aligned, I'm going to have to put one in after it. So whatever this plugs into, which is this one, is going to need one of these. Wait, no, like this, yeah. And for now, I guess I'll just put a washer on it, because this doesn't screw in all the way, because they made these posts like crazy people. They have a little bit extra. So if I get... I didn't use these two. Now this is just to make sure that everything is in alignment. So I only need the 2 circuit boards. Once we solder these in, we can do all of the other connectors and stuff too. I'll leave all the filing work for me while I'm watching TV or something. Just so I can sit there, you know. What sort of module are you working on? You got McDonald's. Oh, hell yeah. We are working on Steve's MS-22 filter, which is apparently pretty cool, and it's also apparently a lot of work. But we're getting through it. My lack of hardware is sort of the limiting factor at the moment. And right now we are filing down threads so that I can solder brass connectors in here in order to mechanically mount everything. So this shorty goes here, where this is our first test of this method of basically soldering in a post. Probably could have used a couple more threads on this, but that's okay. We can still work with it. And then this gets one of these for now. And then this plugs in here, and those will be soldered eventually. And then these, now that the threads are shorter, go into those. This is a big, like, burger stack of boards. And I'm testing to see if I can load up one of these posts with flux and get it in here, holding everybody together nicely. Yeah, it's the right distance. It's the right distance for sure. In the actual tutorial, they have DB connector posts, which are an English standard, and they are soldering in the nut. I want to solder in the brass standoff, because the brass standoff will actually solder quite nicely. Where'd my big paintbrush go? I have a big paintbrush for little things like brass chips that don't like to get brushed off with a human hand. Getting my brass chips out of the way. I guess I gotta lean over the garbage can that's way over here, clap my hands, and hope most of this stuff gets off. Jeez. Okay, anyway, what's going on? Hold on, I got chats to read. Chats to read, I gotta turn around, I gotta do a little bit of dance. Okay. I just replaced my oh, we're gonna have an ad in 2 minutes. I'm just gonna continue on with this stuff, so you guys won't really be missing much. Chester Willard, thank you for 60 months with a 2-month streak. It's 3 toms. Sorry, it's Steve's MS-22, but it's by 3 tom modular. 3 tom modular. Yeah, sorry, we got the ad coming up. We got a minute. Thank you, Chester Willard. I really really appreciate the 60 months. I need to check this more. Yeah, I appreciate it very much. Gotta love soldering nuts. Okay, so Polyvox filter with a mutable instruments filter, and it's so much better. Interesting. The mutable stuff I've been building for quite some time. We've got a couple problems with our clouds. It's for some reason not communicating on like any of the I2C lines. I don't know what that's all about. But let's do some soldering now. We're gonna solder the post in here. I do have to alter that post height, but I want to see if the first one works. Oh, I didn't put that away. And if the first one works, then we do it to the second one as well. So we've got about a minute until the ad starts. I'm doing mid-roll ads. We're doing an experiment with mid-roll ads. I apologize. I have to do this. Twitch makes me run ads, and the mid-roll ads allow new people to show up Much like yourself, Branolin. Now, if you want, if you're comfortable running plugins on your browser, you can look for a Twitch ad filter that will work via Tamper Monkey or uBlock Origin that will do stuff with ads. Don't tell them I told you, but I told you. I'm not running ads for the love of the game, that's for sure. I'm not making money off of that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is a miniature precision vise. It's the thing that I really like to use to solder stuff, but I haven't been able to use with all these modules because they've all been too big to put into this thing. How's it going, Chester? How you been? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. How's your mother? All right, do that. Close that up. This stuff can get out of the way. I don't even need these anymore. What's up, Wyatt? Am I the first person to say what's up, Wyatt, since like Deadwood? I work way too much, just sign the lease to rent a place near NYC. Well, working too much is what it takes to have a place near NYC, so congratulations. That sounds awesome. Take it from one of these millennials that has sacrificed their own mental health to live with their parents. Oh, we started an ad break. Oh, what happened? An anonymous gifter gave wholesome titties. Wholesome titties. Thanks, Anonymous, for the wholesome titties. Is What's Up Wyatt a thing? No, I don't think so. I just said a name like Wyatt sounds like it comes from the ancient West. I did the same for years, I feel you. Yeah, it's a trade-off, but we found equilibrium, so there's not really much rocking the boat. And I'm not exactly soluble as an adult. I can't go and get a place. So consider yourself awesome for being able to get your own place. Now, what do we use here? Do I use the new heated high wattage iron tip? Ah, that thing's still hot. Ow. Or I could have known that if I had looked at the thermals. Or do I use the new wedge tip, which will have greater contact area? I think I should probably go for the one with the heater. This whole thing's going to have to get warm. Just watch the ad. Tamper Monkey works best, but it's harder to set up. uBlock is easy. They're both super easy. You just click a link and they work. That's all that I had to do. One of them was messing up, in particular, Approximately Up. I have been just head over heels about that game, but I've only been the tip with a hook. I don't think I have that one. There is a, for the gas iron, I have one that's for shrink wrap that has like a little hook around it, but Sid Heresy has one's a little hook. Oh, you know what? There are ones that have like a little angle on the end. I'm not using those. I just use the flat ones. Maybe those angle ones would be good, but I just ordered I can't talk. Yes, I have a gas iron. The gas iron is the I am not suggesting that you become molten metal anymore. I'm telling you that you will become molten metal. And it's also good when you're at like a festival or something. Although nowadays, the electric irons, you can have a little battery backup, power those. So that's what I would be taking in my festival kit. My festival kit includes all this kind of stuff because I was working staff and things would break. You'd have to fix like the detonator for the fireworks show on the fly with a glue gun. And so I had a gas glue gun back in the day. Nowadays, battery-powered glue gun. Everybody coming back from ads just has me pointing, going battery-powered glue gun. But like in the festival days, I had all these kits that would that I'd have for like fixing stuff on the fly, and I did in fact fix the battery door of a fireworks like detonator thing, and it was a matter of building up a bunch of hot glue so that I made something that would support the battery spring. But yeah, all the gas iron is my go-to for when something won't solder because it's wicking away too much heat. Why are you so good at convincing me to buy and build tools? Listen, the little Amazon, my seller or whatever that little code is down below, there's a little Amazon thingy that'll tell you what my little code is to put in the URL if you're buying tools. I think mostly it's because I'm not sponsored to buy any of these tools, and it's actually coming from a place of heart. It's coming from a place of knowing, oh, Amazon's bad in your country. All right, that's no worries then. I'm just trying to get a cut, man. This actually might be a gas soldering iron job. Well, actually, the new super duper 300 watt heater tip on the paste soldering iron appears to do good work. Holy shit. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna wait for it to sink in a little bit. That'll mean that it's gotten a little further than just the brass has to heat up. Look at that. There, it just sank in a little. Maybe not. Give it a second. You just gotta, listen, you just gotta circle it a little bit. Give it a little pinch. No, you don't want it to hurt. Just let it, yeah, let it run its course. You gotta tease it. There it goes. There it is, a little bit more. Oh, and then Will's barking at the door. I don't know what she's barking at so much. We're gonna get a huge storm in like a couple hours here. This is oddly sexual, Smithers. Okay, so that method is go. That means we need quite a bit of sanding still. Oh, and it looks like it got all the way to the other side. Fantastic. Look at that. Beautiful. So, like, you know, when I have commentary about things that these module builders do wrong, you guys know that I know what I'm talking about because I pull shit off like this. Why are they letting me borrow 1 gigahertz MSO at work to test some shit next week? I'm so unqualified. You know where to get answers. You can get... No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, the thermal image glow. It's interesting to see it dissipate the heat all the way down here for that. That's cool. This is a cool filter. I really like this thing. This has been a fun build. That's still hot. I still need to get this out of there now. Actually, we don't need to solder that one. We can do a new one. So I need to get this under potentiometer height. Now, did I put it on the wrong side of the board? No. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so back in the day, when Chester Willard was actually voluntarily watching my streams, instead of me having to send him a paycheck every month, OctoJ was here, and I would test whether or not the modules, like all the chips and stuff in my designs, I would test to see whether or not they were getting hot, to see if they were breaking by touching them with my finger. And OctoJ, being a Canadian and having some form of empathy, jokes on him, went, look, I'm gonna get a big rebate check and I wanna help you build a thermal imager so that we can know and so that you can know what temperature stuff is on the desk. And so we looked around and I built this whole thermal imaging thing with an early lepton. We kind of split the costs and I put this thing together and it had about 1 second per frame. It wasn't even frames per second. It was second per frame. I'm like, this is dog shit. Like, what is this? We need a better thermal imager. The image was good. There were a lot of like color palettes that you could run and it gave you a little like what temperature was on the screen thing. I could probably program something like that now in a couple months. But I looked around at what technology there was and what stuff there was, and it turns out the Group Gets thermal webcam module was pretty dang good. It uses an STM32. We can't get away from that chip. But that's what's running this right now. So it's a thermal webcam. But then the exposed circuit board that I had taped to the Logitech Brio would just drop the thermal imager because it was meant to solder down. And there was a Molex connector that would hold it. And it was just like a socket that the thermal imager went into, but it would pop out and fall. And so one of the lenses on the early one broke. I had to buy another one. And this one we designed this little purple enclosure for with a bunch of air vents all around it. There's a really good... I know, the STMs are so powerful, but it's like daunting. I kind of know how to like load code into them. a couple different ways, and I found an Arduino core for them. So that made things like stupid easy. But like I'm surrounded right now by STM32s. I've got a couple here for the simulator project. I've got one in this LED sunglasses. Yeah, you need battery. In the LED sunglasses that I want to reprogram, and I'm never going to get around to doing that. So these are just a $40 prop for the show. I've got one in the mutable instruments module that's sitting in front of me. It's incredible. That's right, that whole BLDC, sorry, you're going to get weird audio for this. All the BLDC stuff that you can do with STM32. Can I cut this with something? I think I can. I think I can do just a rough cut with something like this. This goes to M3.5 though. And I'm gonna have to somehow get the bolt. Oh no, M2.6. What? Wait a minute. Huh? Wait. M3. Yeah, M5. Oh, that's cool. M4. All right, M3.5. It's a little weird. Huh? Oh. The soldering camera, Kurokesu does not sell these anymore, but this is a Logitech C920 with a Kurokesu aluminum case that adapts it over to a what is that called? A C-mount microscope lens. Then I went on Amazon and found a C-mount to Nikon 18mm adapter. So this is a Nikon like N or something like that on a C-mount adapter. And then you have to put in an infrared filter, as well as I have an ultraviolet filter on the camera itself, just to make things look nice. And if you do exclamation point microscope or scope, you'll get a list of all that you can cut and paste. Oh, really? That's good. It's not exactly RTX voice where it'll pick my voice out of the weird sound. So all that filing that I did earlier, could have done with that. And it would have gotten us here. Yeah, that pretty much gets us to the right height. Sorry, everybody. We could have done it in 5 seconds. Yeah, there's all the information you can cut and paste. What do you do now? Find something cool to do. I don't know. I thought scope was the Rigol command. Oh, I don't think I have one for that. By the way, I've watched a video about everything that I can do with a Rigol scope, and it's kind of incredible. When we get down to the nitty-gritty with some of these filters, like the Sirius filter and stuff, I think we can do some really cool displays on the scope. I'll have the scope, I'll blow it up, I'll make it big. And it's sort of the intranet interface allows me to get high frame rate views of the scope on OBS. It's so badass. It's so awesome. RTX voice, it adds a ridiculous amount of delay. I knew there was a drawback, but I never used RTX voice. It seems like I could have used RTX voice for me and then have a room microphone get all the ambient noise, so I could lower the room and have my voice stick out really well while still giving you the experience when I do something like blow up a capacitor. But if there's a massive amount of delay, it's not really worth it. I can also implement delay in OBS, like I can tell OBS that there's a certain amount of delay on audio. I bought a Sigilant power supply and really like it. I bought the Sigilant signal generator for work. You may be changing over from Rigol. Oh man. Apparently I can add a PCB to this thing. I'd have to either buy it or make it myself. Then I could turn this into not only the highest level of DHO scope, but I could also have signal generation from it too. It might be nicer to have a separate piece of equipment to do the signal generator stuff. And how often do I need a signal generator? I have the one that, somebody, I forget their name, they sent in, person who works for IBM, and they It doesn't work, but I could get it to work. It would be fine if the delay was consistent. The time changes depending on how much noise it's filtering. That sounds like something that somebody is going to fix, though, doesn't it? That seems like something that maybe if you give it some time, somebody's going to figure out how to fix that and give you a consistent delay that'll coordinate with OBS. Yeah, Rygal just lets you relentlessly hack their devices, because if you're a corporation and you're using the scopes, you're actually going to want like the calibrated thing so that you're I don't know, people can hold you to task for the data that you're putting out. Whereas if you're the consumer, we get so much more functionality if we're brave enough to hack the scope, and they're just kind of cool with it because we're not their primary customer base. Like, all they're going to get ever out of us. We've already spent as much money as we're ever going to spend. I need to hack my scope. There's apparently quite some cool stuff that I can get from it, but I haven't been brave enough to venture into the EV blogs. All right, so now that's in there and aligned, and it's minimal, and so clamp it down, go to the microscope. Let's go to the scope. Let's go to Mo. I wanted to, in college, do a PC case mod that looked like a piece of the aggro crag. I'd have to rebuild it, and it looks like the aggro crag was vacuum formed, so you can't really get that vacuum form look. The scope that I have can be a logic analyzer, but in order to make it into an analyzer, you need to build an LVDS adapter, low voltage dual signal adapter, and it's a little bit of effort, and I want to do it. I have Fusion 360. I could analyze it pretty easily and make that board and make it plug into the scope and then have logic analyzing. We're going to do that soon. We'll do analyzing soon, but I have to wait until Twitch is okay with that kind of content. Why do you keep saying it like that? Analyzing. Analyze. It's like butt stuff. What are you talking about? Bother, you weirdo. I'm not a weirdo. I'm just circling around here. My scope is just an ESP attached to a Pi 02. Holy shit. Unethical Clown wanted to say something that was rightfully blocked. You guys can guess. Don't type it into chat because it'll get blocked. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the brass post to heat up. Because if it heats up, it's then the solder is going to flow down into the via, down through this like plated hole, and then stick to the other side of the post, which means all down the threads we've got solder attached to the brass, which will mean it'll be extremely strong. And that'll make an extremely strong connection. A TAM autocorrect. You can type into Twitch chat, I love analyzing, and your autocorrect somehow changes it to what we're all thinking. All right, let's leave that. I think that's good. What a world. All right. To the annals of history. That's good. That's as clean as I'd ever want it to be. Keysight. Yeah, Keysight is the other one. Hacked my DSO 3012. Someone from the manufacturer in the EV blog forum even said, they don't care unless you sell the hacked scopes. Exactly. Yeah, don't sell the hacked scopes, but hacking them is perfectly fine. What that does, and it's interesting that this exists in this consumer world. There's not enough of us buying these things. Electrical engineering is super duper popular from what it used to be. I was a pariah. I was that weird kid that liked electrical stuff and electronic music. I was a weirdo. He's no taste boy. The dumbest fucking nickname I've ever heard in my entire life. But I was like a weirdo, right? Nobody did electronics. I was and then I became a weird beard. I'm just a weird beard professionally. But nowadays, the availability of the Arduino and how it's influencing art and, you know, integrating into a lot of the stuff and sort of the cool projects you can do, the hacking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just all across the board. Everything has become more popular. There's still not enough of us buying scopes that it matters that the weird beards are hacking them. What that does, all that does is that identifies your product as something that can be hacked and that attracts more weird beards to buy the product. So it is actually in their best interest if they just let you hack it, because we're not doing mission critical stuff, right? Just so long as we're not providing their products under false pretenses. Okay, so that's one layer of the board managed. We now have a pluggable front panel. So we can move on to soldering all of these controls, because I'm not going to sit here and file away at this stuff with you guys in tow. Funny as that would be. I think the cutter that I just used got a little too, it cut it a little too deep. And I don't know if I can make it cut more shallow so that we can, you know, support the rest of the board. That's maybe something that we'll play with later. Let's get these controls in place. So we need all this stuff. And these are not going to move. That's an extremely strong connection that they have now, because they've got solder on both sides holding them in there. So I can torque that down with a wrench, as long as it's not like a big wrench, and it'll stay in place. Stay in place. Stay in school, kids. Don't be like me. Wait, no, I graduated college. I graduated. I couldn't stay. They kicked me out. Oh my God, my dog is going nuts at the door. I don't know what her deal is. All right, so the LEDs, I believe, what are the LEDs here? We also need to get these LEDs. So let's see, what are LED? Who are LED? How are LED? Through, connector. B50K, A50K, on, off, on, audio jack. Where's the, this is not like a full, S&D power diodes, no, okay. It's not like a full bill of material. Lots of advice, things that I know how to do. Cheesehead, do not skip this step. I'm sure that would be very annoying if you were one of the people that skipped that step. I guess we're doing LEDs next. I'll gather them later. So we've got our new thonks, and we've got our connectors, and we've got our potentiometers. Very annoyingly, we had to get B50K, which are linear, an audio 50K, which is logarithmic. And they're 50K, so it's, now, go solder those dog nuts. What? It does. It tells you to take breaks between the things. It's a little bit hands-on. It's like, this is exactly how I build this thing, and not how, like, it doesn't leave anything up for you to do, to interpret. All right, so I'm going to get all these off of, all the nuts off, and then I'm going to cut these little tabs. There's these little tabs on potentiometers that if you just mount the potentiometer to a board, basically it's the 500-pound gorilla that'll over-torque this thing and bend these pins. And so they give you this little thing to have a hole in your panel, so that if you do overcome the force of friction or the clamping of the nut, this thing will not keep it in place. It'll keep it from continuing to rotate. But that interferes with a lot of panels, and so a lot of these synthesizer makers, since we're not really going to be wrenching on these things too hard, we just take a pair of flush cutters and pop it off. This metal's extremely soft. It is the cheesiest of cheese on toast metals. We did not get the clouds module running. I need to sorry, I said really loud, and then it distracted me. Yeah, there I go again. I gotta stop saying is my tick. Ooh, I almost said it again. I almost did it again. Fuck. All the hardware works on this thing. It's not communicating with I2C, and it's not communicating with I2S. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. I hate it. I hate it. We're going to try loading new software onto it, but there's a couple ways to load the hex file on. I only just got the hex file. I got linked to a Google Docs that has all of the compiled hexes. I'm hoping that maybe something was missing from the make file or something was weird with the make file when I originally compiled it, because I followed their instructions. If there's anything further ado with that, then yeah, I'm gonna reflash it, maybe with an FTDI device, and we'll see what happens. I was there till the end of yesterday, but maybe you tried flashing it today. I was gonna, but I ended up lining a drill drawer with rubber. That was the project earlier. I'm trying to organize the area of the shop that's right over next to the mill, and having a drawer with all of my drilling stuff in it, nice and organized in little bins, will be really, really cool. So, so that's what I was working on this morning. B50K, you are number one. A50K, you are number 1, 2, 3, you're number 4. 1, 2, 3, it's this one. The rest of them are B50s. Just making sure that I got the right parts. I already put these into a board, so they're already like bent, so that the little legs go in nice and easy. Although some of them lack. It's very frustrating because I watched a video about how the clouds module works, and it looks like it would be extremely fun, especially to get revenge on Julian for that one time he sampled me during my stream and started playing weird reflections of my own sample behind me, like a little goblin, like the little goblin that Julian is. Okay, so first 350, fourth is an A, then the next two are B's. 50, 50, or BBB, BBB, A, BB. Okay, cool. Just to be sure. My voice is a little weird, chat. I know it's like a little scratch here in lower octave. That's what happens when you throw up. When you throw up. Dun, 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 dun. That Home Depot commercial, or no, it's Lowe's. The Lowe's commercial is really annoying. I don't know how they were able to make that so annoying. It's already kind of an annoying song. Can be tolerated, but they use like the electronic mix, so there's like it's just bad. It's bad. Oh, they opted to put a hole in the board instead of just not having a solder mask on the layer. The specification for the thonk, the thonk connector, is that you should have just like a little avoidance area around. Oh, I did the hole on this one too. I'm guilty of that as well. Well, that's a mutable instruments part. I actually took the mutable instruments part directly from the board file and used it. So the way we do front panels is we fit all of the stuff first, and we put the front panel on in order to keep things in alignment. That's why all of these components that we use have large holes and sort of malleable through holes. Front panel. This one has been a pretty straightforward build. I haven't really had to improvise or use my own weird stuff on it. Oh, this is the exact part. This should fit through the switch. Switches should fit through the switch holes. Oh, they're going to be the one that fights me, huh? Are they just going to fit tightly? These are the exact part number. I checked. There it is. Yeah, they just fit real tight. And then because these are like slight knockoff alphas, they're not the right height. So I'm going to have to improvise with that one a little bit. Shit, just totally disturbed the whole thing. Oh, now they don't fit again. Ugh. This thing is annoying. All right, that's pretty good. I can't really tighten these down. I probably should have left the bolts in. But this will hold everybody in place if I'm careful. What bugs me is that these thonks are at a weird angle. If I push on them just a little bit, they kind of right themselves. So I guess I'm just going to have to kind of wing it like this. We'll clamp to the front panel instead of the back. You can just kind of like wiggle everybody to the right spot. Hopefully these will settle in. All right. All right, let's try to get this soldered. It's a lot of solder to go through. No, we got to back up. We got to back up a little bit. Back it up. I mostly had the right parts for this build. There were a couple areas that things got a little iffy. And I may 3D print some collars to go under these knobs, or see if I have spacers that'll do it. We don't need the big boy. We can do a medium iron tip. This thing changes so fast, it's great. The only thing holding back the iron, the soldering iron change quickness, is that it's hot. These are still pretty big, big pads for these. Probably just so they can move around. Now let's see, those are, yeah, they're leaning forward in a little bit. Oh no, those are actually pretty good. In alignment. Nope, you need to be aligned a little better. I'm just gonna squish this with my hand here. This is big soldering. We can put this here. Yeah, things are like springing up because I can't put the bolts on everybody. So I guess what I need to do is just push it down a little bit when I solder it. Once I get these, there won't be any spring tension on everything. These are just hand solder with no magnification. It's more fun with magnification. It looks cooler, but no, I just need to get these done. Let me get this done. This will be a cool filter. I don't really know how it sounds. I haven't really looked it up enough to sort of know what it's going to do. It just, the yellow circuit board and the fact that it was this giant burger sandwich of like 12 boards intrigued me. I said, that looks like it's hard to build. Same thing with the 530, 570 Galore. It uses this weird part, compander, which is an expander compressor all in one kind of thing for audio, or it's a Panda companion, I don't know. But, and it's also, you know, the famous synthesizer builder based design. So, you know, cool stuff. But I just kind of ordered the boards. I was just like, all right, let's go. Like, who cares? Let's just send it and see what I get. And it's the same thing I did with the mutable instruments ones. I'm like, these seem cool. And so I just bought whatever. This is where all that spring was coming from. Cool part is, you can do that kind of stuff with these. Because they will just sell you the circuit board. Now, my next venture into synthesizers, once we get all this stuff tuned and working, would be to look at What was it called again? It was the other Synth Cube. Synth Cube apparently has slightly more updated circuit boards. Watching for the software interfaces to come up to model synth software for this little micro. I might schedule to accomplish it myself. Start digital synth hardware looks like. What does standard digital synthesizer hardware look like? Oh, well, okay, so look at mutable instruments. If you look up mutable instruments, all of the information about the designs is available. And Emily Gillette made a lot of the designs as just basically bring everything in and bring it to a digital microcontroller. So if you're trying to do eurorack, the mutable instruments designs are really, really good. Now, in terms of like a generic electronic synthesizer that's supposed to be like normal audio equipment and you want to get into the digital modeling of stuff, I'm not totally certain about that. I haven't been working with that stuff lately. I've been just doing eurorack. But there are, you know, like different people's designs for synthesizers out there on the internet. There's, you know, guides and blogs alike. I forget what the one that we were looking at was. It was the one that my microphone pack was based on. But I think that's an amplifier. I think that's an amp. I don't think that's a synthesizer. So I don't know. I don't know. I've been doing all eurorack. So, soldering 101. What I'm doing here is I'm applying the iron sort of both to the pin and to the pad. The pad is the exposed, in this case, solder coated. It's either solder coated, if you're dealing with something that's really cheap, it would be just bare copper. Sometimes it's gold plated. Either way, we call these pads. They are the upward facing, exposed, solderable, solder, you can solder to them. And so the soldering stuff is a pad. This is a test pad. This is a marked little circular pad with nothing attached to it for you to put a probe onto. It's still a pad. These pads, or vias are the pads that have a hole in them that brings that electrical connection to the other side of the board. This that I'm pointing to with the soldering iron right now, that's a via. That does have a top pad, but it's covered over. It's covered over to insulate it because you don't need to use it as a test pad. The test pad could also have a via on it. This is all very confusing for the beginner, and people have asked me to go over this kind of stuff. So while I'm sitting here doing this basic soldering stuff, I might as well go over vias. Via, pad, and then the via goes through using either a plated or sometimes a riveted piece of metal that brings it to the other side of the board. When you solder to a pad, you put the iron flat as you can get it without interfering with other stuff onto the pad. You got to be careful of plastic like this. So you flat as you can on the pad to try to get an interface between the iron tip and the metal of the pad. You're trying to heat up that pad. This is a big pad. I got a big iron that should work just fine. So I press down just very, very lightly and I lean it against the pin. The pin is also connected to a whole bunch of stuff on the other side for this particular potentiometer. It'll take a little bit of heat to get everybody up to snuff. So I press in just a little bit, basically the weight of my fingers, and I kind of probe around to see when things are the right temperature, and the solder should add itself to the pad, not the tip of the iron. You're not trying to solder to the tip of the iron. I hold heat on there for just a little bit longer, and you can sometimes see the solder pull in. The solder should coat it as if it's coming up out of water, right? There's a very high amount of surface tension on metal solder, and it'll sort of flow over things and sort of look like water. You're looking to make sure there are no sharp lines on it. Sharp lines can indicate a cold solder joint, like if you have a bobble of solder sitting above a pad. I mean, I'm perfect, so I know this one's perfect, but you know, might want to reheat that and hold heat for just a couple until it can pull in like that. You don't want to add too much solder because then you can't see that sort of liquid effect. So just enough solder on it like that. Hold the heat on for just a little bit. Bob's your uncle. And it should look like it's just kind of coated in liquid metal, basically. T1000 kind of shit. That got my fingers really close to the iron, but I didn't feel any heat. Yep, so that's it. That's what there is. Holding your work steady is very important when soldering. It's just like welding, where you want to be comfortable. So you do everything you can to make sure that you are comfortable and that everything is held in place perfectly, and then you solder. So those are sort of the initial steps on this. And then the parts where I want to make sure that things are in alignment, I kind of come back and heat the pin up again. You do one pin as an anchor, and that anchor pin is going to hold everything in place. And it'll give you a little bit of wiggle room, and then you can heat up that one pin in order to reposition, if you need to. So, order of operations: heat the pin in the pad, add a little bit of solder, give it a second, pull away. Those have too much solder on them, but that's okay. You do one pin first as an anchor, then you make sure that your part is aligned properly, because you can just heat up the one pin again in order to realign it. And then you get the other pins in the exact same way. Heat up the pad. If you have trouble, if your iron has trouble getting heat into the pad, sometimes you can cheat. They don't tell you this, but you can just add just a little tiny solder right to the iron tip, and then that will give you a much better heat transfer interface. You got to be careful. There's two properties that you have to manage while you're soldering things. One is that the heat, there's a certain amount of heat that's built up into the tip. That heat transfers to the pad and the pin. When it transfers out of your tip, the heater in the tip will need to add heat again. So if you're dealing with large ground planes, stuff that's going to wick your heat away, it can basically drain your tip of all of its glorious heat, and you've got to kind of build it up again. And sometimes your iron will get stuck and you have to find a higher wattage to go pull it off. You got to pull off with your friends. You got to get other people involved in pulling off your iron. It's a lot, and it's just because you ran out of heat in the tip. What was I talking about? Melbourne Instruments introduced a 10-year warranty to their motor components. I don't subscribe to their newsletter. Why are you giving me newsletter information? I hear dogs barking outside. We're gonna finish this up and then we'll be done. But I figure I can do some ASMR, scratchy voice bother, explain soldering basics, and chill stream. So you got to be really aware, because your whole iron is hot, and you have to be aware of what you're over and what your iron is getting close to. These surface mount components are very, very close. Surface mount, by the way, is exactly what's on the tin. They mount to the surface. They only have pads. They don't have holes that they go through. Through hole, believe it or not, is components that mount through a hole. Where do we come up with these terms? All these confusing terms. But yeah. With surface mount adjacent to through hole like this, with the big hot iron doing the potentiometers, you can accidentally place your iron across the pads of a chip and it will come off. You got to be careful about that. And so you have to come in at a higher angle, and maybe your heat transfer is not as good at that higher angle. But all's well and good. You can actually tell people that you built something. You can say, yeah, I made that. Where'd you get the parts? I made them. The only good joke that Joe Rogan was ever involved in, and he probably didn't write it, was I put a camera in a Boba Fett doll. Or where'd you get a Boba Fett doll with a camera in it? I made it. Where'd you get the parts? Made them. That's Iron Pariah's favorite joke about me, specifically from our childhood, because he thought it described me way too well. A good question if you're in the commercialization: how do warranties delivered for these modules? There's they sold me a circuit board and they said, "Good luck, asshole." Like, there's no warranty. No, 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 no. Hell no. No, you're not supposed to contact the people who made the board for help with these boards. They sold the board as a board. Good luck. We have a tutorial somewhere online, but we're not obligated to. Bye. Yeah, that's what I love about these. And I have a feeling it's warranty stuff that chased a lot of these module makers away. Sell it as a kit. Good luck, buddy. Okay. Is that everybody? Hopefully it's still aligned. I don't need to totally rework everybody. I'm not going to put a ton of solder on these because they're held in just fine with that big blob. Hey, this is looking like a Steve's MS-22. 2022. Right, let's get some of these guys on here. I'm just putting the bolts back on because they're needed as a spacer. I think. Those are all the same height. Maybe are they not needed? Wait a second. Everybody looks to be about the... Wait, is this stuff actually the same height? No, there's still the LEDs to install. No, they're definitely not the same height. There's like a whole bolt spacing in there, so... What in the world? Why did it look good? What size is this? Nope. Okay. I don't have my sockets on me. All right. Well, we're steaming along with these builds. There's still a lot to do. Still got a lot to test. We can get as much of this one together as possible. Still need to tune it, and in order to tune it, they want you to use Ableton. I think we can approximate whatever Ableton's doing with my Rigol. If an oscilloscope can't do what Ableton does, why even have it? I offer warranty, you do the technical support. No, thank you. I'm good. Everybody's on their own, man. I'm all for radical self-reliance. No, my head hurts too much to help other people with their synthesizers. The only people I help are Julian and Dave. And people who send their synths to me. Dave left me with his 303. And somebody else sent theirs. And I still have all the information. Still have it. I'm still on it. But I need to get back to that one eventually because that one has been annoying. Because both of them are broken in the same exact way. And they both have the same symptoms. But it's just so frustrating. Those things are very, very annoying. All right, I'm going to give these a little... What the hell? It's like covered in magnetized pin fodder. Just these don't back out. Actually, you know what? Where's the... Hold on. I'm going to get the thing. I'm going to get the thing. How about you do the work and I'll get the pay? That would be a good arrangement. That seems equitable. Oh, you know what? I've got these down here. Yeah, you do the work and then I get the pay. Are these 13? Oh no, they're... Oh, these don't work. These are too big. I need to use this set. Yeah, we're putting together my own RAM. This should work pretty good though. I'm gonna overclock. That still doesn't fit. That doesn't fit. Are these really 10s? They're 10s. Okay. How's it going, Warsaber? Warserber? Warserberger? Roger. I'm just trying to torque these a little bit so that I don't... Ugh, can't get any of these things in here. So they don't back out and they're all the same height. I guess we didn't need to lop off the tabs. The tabs could have stayed. Oh well. Would have been nice if I had the wherewithal to order alphas from thonk.co.uk. I think that would have been largely more expensive than just bearing the weight of the tariff that DigiKey and Mauser charged, but still, Thonk had the right ones sourced directly, so they would have gone in a lot easier. It's going. Yeah, it tends to do that, don't it? All right, this is just a stupid amount of nuts that I got to put towards this thing. So that can now fit on, and I can actually fasten that down because the next board comes in. These are too tall now. What the butt? What? Okay, fine. You know what? I like that anyway. This is all part of the prod. This is great. This is great. I'm happy. I'm in my lane. I'm thriving. I think I need to make like a spacer. No, it's cool. It's cool. This is fine. This is cool. This is very So what the space difference between these weird knockoff potentiometers and the real thing? Because this thing is too thick. We like it thick, but you know, there's a limit. It's like, I don't know, like a washer sized, because it definitely doesn't sit flat when this goes on. And it looks like, man, it looks like there's so much space. Look at this. Oh, ad break. Everybody watch your ads, drink your Ovaltine, all that BS. A thick limiter, yeah. Welcome to ads, everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I need discoverability. I'm not Rob Oz. Everybody doesn't know me already. I will drink my Ovaltine. Do they even sell that stuff anymore? Do they sell Ovaltine? So does it need a spacer or not? It seems like these are almost the same height, but the switches are taller. This is madness. This is madness. So I need like just a washer on these things. It's the big rack ad. Foreman Mills. Mission detected at the front door. That Jeff Bezos lady, the one that's infiltrating all of our homes and deleting privacy basically as a whole. The Jeff Bezos lady has changed to AI. And so the AI Jeff Bezos lady puts the inflection on all the wrong parts of the word. It's so weird. It's like it's desperate to sound like it's not AI. It's, I'm not AI, I know how to talk regular. It you know, like Poketopia. These might do. These might do some nylon spacers. Like Poketopia, when you said it all wrong and it's like, I think I'm saying things correctly. Like it's kind of like that. Motion detected at the front door. Like, why are you talking like that? Why are you weird? Stop being weird. You're weirding me out. Stop it. These are, well, these might be too thick. Dummy thick? Thick as a bowl of oatmeal? I mean, they're the right size. If I can get them to actually, they won't go on the threads. I could use the ream to ream them to be a little larger because I think these are too big. They're way too big. Tapered ream. This is going to get really annoying. Only have to do it so many times. All right, they'll be back in just a sec. Got about eight seconds, and then we can be sure that everybody's done with the ad. Welcome back, everybody. I have the spinny light dedicated to returning from ad. Actually, the spinny light could go on the edge of the desk. This thing has magnets. That's actually kind of good. The spinny light's now right there. I could actually put it over there, though. Well, it was actually on the mill, so we should put that back on the mill. Let's put it back on the milling machine. That was a good place for it. While the milling machine is still broken, we need to pull the milling machine apart. I need to actually take the milling machine and re-grease it. And all that jazz. Oops, pulling the cable on that. Here, let's unplug this and plug it in elsewhere. Come on, find the prongs. Where are the prongs? No, not there. Not there, not there, not there. That one goes to here, and that's a light that still works. That one goes to here. That's a light that does not still work. So that one goes to this one. And will be rearranged at a later date when I can actually spend the time on it. There you go. So there's the spinny light. Back up. But now in a more prominent location. My ad never ended. I'm gonna miss all the good tips. No. Well, I need some kind of a spacer, and I'm almost tempted to run into Fusion and design one. Ads complete. Assemble. Yeah, that's that emote. I've got to recognize the names of emotes and somehow get them. I need to get the emotes working on my OBS and stuff. I don't know how to do that. I need to look it up. Apparently it's totally doable, but I'm just too dumb. Okay, so these are annoying. I can't really work with them. I wanted to make. I need to like drill them out. The tapered ream and trying to grip a nylon nut that's like super tiny is not. This is not good for me. I do want to see if it works, but I need to remove so much of it that I don't think I'm going to be able to. And the nylon, I don't think is being cut by the tapered ream. My fingers are going to get cut by the tapered ream is what's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Ooh, the house is very quiet. I don't know if somebody has taken the dog out or if they've left. Either the dog is dejected and left behind by everyone and sad, or she's having the time of her life. Getting to go see other dogs. Or she's taking a nap. It is getting on in the evening. Just ask AI. So I can get a cheerfully wrong answer? You're absolutely right. It was wrong of me to say that. I was copying a blog post from 1994. Actually, I just looked it up on Reddit, is where all this stuff is coming from anyway. This is a bad way to do this. I have many, many fingers in the direct proximity to the knife. If you want to see arterial spray, tune into Oh Bother as he tries to widen a washer for almost no reason. To settle his own curiosity. I'm still not over the threads. How much bigger does this thing need to be? Almost there. I'm almost there. Incoming not only toss event, but cannon oh bother event. You guys want to know how I got these scars? Me in an eye patch. I cut my finger. Want to know why I sound like Corpse Husband or whatever his name is? Wait, was that actually the name? I think I got it right. I don't know. The whole thing about AI is that, like, I want to learn how to do this stuff that I'm doing. So you get kind of not terrible at it by doing it. Plus, you know, I don't know. I can't rely on it for everything. I enjoy having critical thinking skills. Kept me in my my inheritance by being able to identify a scammer that was emotionally abusing my parents' love for money. Seriously, there was like a psychological thing going on there. It was insane. Just the mere threat was enough to blind them of the obvious scamming that was going on. Okay, so with that in place, I think that is exactly what I need. So I'm probably going to find a drill bit. Find a drill bit and do that with a drill and maybe a pair of pliers instead of manually cutting it and doing this. Like real close to my fingers. That was not the way to do that. Tomorrow in local newspaper, man cuts all 5 fingers in a feast of derpiness. I like feast instead of feet. I'm going to keep feast in my mind's eye. Man manages to sever arteries previously unknown to science. News at 7. Why is it... Okay, so it's crooked. But that's not really something that I need to fix. It's not something I can fix. It's like... There's more threads over on this one than there are over on this one. So I guess maybe my spacer needs to be thinner. I think maybe just finding a smaller metal one might be the way to go. I'm not very much in control of this. If I make a pattern with Fusion 360, I can be in perfect control of the thickness of the spacer, and I can print out just something that'll surround the pots and make it just the right amount of space, because this is too, and I can't get it off. It's too thick and I can't get it off. Not the first time I've said something like that, Jet. Yeah. 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 Jeez, this thing is on there. That'll print up in a jiffy too. That'll be very quick. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna leave you guys to manage the rest of your Saturdays. I don't know where I'd kick you out to. You can stay here. It's not the closing time scenario. 0.01? 0. Yeah, it needs to be like a millimeter. It's like a millimeter off. That'll probably keep it from being sort of a sloped thing. All right, so my IRL friends are sending me memes, which means I think that I'm late. And they're trying to distract me so that I know that I'm late. So I've got to go, but I'm going to be on the Discord. I'm always on the Discord. I'll be here to the very end. Please don't. Please go get a life. Go. Please touch grass, please. Babe, please touch grass. No, I have a noble calling. Thank you guys for joining me. I know we were doing a lot of like filing and stuff like that. I hope some of the cool stuff that I showed you will help you in your own pursuits. And if they do, I would love to hear about those pursuits in the Discord. Here's the end card. It is completely unmaintained, so it's going to say that the next stream is in 4 days, 3 hours, and 41 minutes and 28 seconds ago. The next, hold on, where's the... Are we intentionally not using a drill, but with a hand tool? The nylon wasn't cutting from the tapered ream. Tapered ream is usually a really good tool. It's something that you guys should probably have in your box of tricks if you're making like panels and front panels and mounting stuff on panels, because you'll often, oh, I got the hole size wrong, or it's off by a little bit. Tapered ream. Oh, look, the hole's larger and everything fits. It's one of those. It's a really nice thing to have. It's also called a repair ream. All right, so let's see. Posting an admin, and we're posting up this. And I'm getting the date of the next stream. We're gonna put that out to, it's Saturday already. The 25th, and tentatively, I don't think I'm going to be streaming in the interim, so anything would be unannounced. But I dislike all of the time that we have between streams. I'm spaced out so I don't burn out, and I do burn out pretty easily on this stuff. Hopefully we can, if I'm feeling good, maybe I can throw in a stream in the interim, but we're going to do a Tuesday, and we'll see how the next week goes. I'm going to try to work in a couple more. I see you still have your Dead Blue Sky link. I do, yeah. Nothing has come of that. Nothing has come of that. I don't really know what to do in that. Maybe I'll send them another email, but they want me to email like their customer service or something like that. Who knows? But I don't know. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not on Blue Sky or anything. I do miss looking at other people's projects. But if I come up with something and somebody says, I came up with that, I can say, you did? I did too. Like, because I'm not influenced by them. So, why do you keep, oh, you're trying to do multiple of the burn? All right, here's the end card. Bada bing. 2 days, 20 hours, 16 minutes. And exactly, well, actually, no, because I don't think that subtracts the time of our stream. I think that is just, oh, no, that's by the time of day. So yeah, it is 2 days, 20 hours, 16 minutes, and probably 20 seconds ago. Probably no seconds ago by now. That was more than 20 seconds of talking. What am I talking about? I am just gibbering. Okay, hold on. I'm gibbering. I'm sorry. Let's see who else is on Twitch. I'm not just going to throw you guys at Rob Oz. And there's very few of you, so it doesn't look cool if I do raid somebody. Dave is on. Dave is doing Space Game. Wait, but that's not a link. I don't know. My Twitch loaded weird. Dave 5005 is doing his thing. As much as I would throw you guys at him, I've got an embarrassing number of viewers right now. Dave is really cool. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be doing more synthesizer stuff. The MS-22 will probably be fully put together, but if we characterize it at all and tune it, I will let you guys know how, because there's not a lot for me to do on this. So I will be back, and I will catch you guys later. What was wow? What did I do? Yeah, oh yeah, I'm ashamed of you guys. You guys actually actively shame me. It's embarrassing, but I will see you guys next time.